Hello, everyone, and welcome to the next episode of Kiss My Wax Remastered. I am one of your co-hosts, Jason Herndon, and with us, as always, is
Joe Scott.
Joe Scott. And from Australia,
Nardo Polo, world's greatest marble player.
Dave Buckland. There always has to be a Buckland or an Australian on the show, and luckily we have both today.
Always a Buckland.
we're just going to call you Nicholas the whole time.
That's right.
Yes.
So, Nicholas, yeah. So, Dave Scott joining us this time from Australia. The last few times he was in L.A., and he's back home now. I don't know, putting up goat fences or something like that, sheep fences.
Sheep fences. But there's none of my record collection here, so I wouldn't have to worry about goats. The record collection remains in LA, and I am here for the foreseeable future.
The Kiss collection is in an undisclosed location, right?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, there's only two people now, and there's one key, and yeah.
You have to at the same time in Australia and the U.S. you have to turn the key to the right.
You have to turn at the same time, yeah.
On my mark. Yeah.
That's hilarious. So, this on this episode of Kiss My Wax Remastered, we are going to look back at kind of the last 5-6 years of the teens decade. So, pretty much picking up where the 2014s and Kisteria left off, and just we're going to discuss a lot of the colored vinyl that had come out, the anniversary editions, a few other items that have been released, just to try to get everyone caught up and in one space on Kiss vinyl. And hopefully we'll hit all of them. We've got a list that we can refer to here, but we're just going to chat about some of the cooler, interesting things that have come out since the 2014. So that's why we are doing this episode.
There you go.
There we go. And before we jump into it, I just want to say, head over to our Facebook groups at Kiss My Collectibles and Kiss My Wax.
Wow, that was extra creepy.
Yeah. Join us on Facebook, man, because we've got a lot of stuff going on in those groups. They're, very large. A lot of people participate. We talk about our projects there. We just did our Ace record, and then we have something else coming up pretty cool soon that we'll be announcing. But join us. Join us on Facebook. Join us on Instagram. Just search for Kiss My Collectibles anywhere you can, and you'll be able to find us. So, good night.
There you go. Good night, everybody.
There you go.
All right,
So,
well, let's maybe start at the top of our list, not necessarily in any kind of real chronological order, right? We want to talk a little bit about Kisteria. Not a ton to talk about there, but just the fact that it's, we believe, sold out finally.
I think it did finally sell out. It had hung on for a long, long time, and then I believe those last, whatever it was it 35 or 50? I think it was maybe 50 copies or so. They sent over to the band, and Paul and Gene signed them, and they put them up for even more expensive than what they originally were, and they sold out in 24 hours.
Were they $1,700? Were they $2,000? Do we remember what they were signed?
They're about $2,500 signed, weren't they?
Yeah, they were about $2,500 or something.
Oh, okay.
They were $1,700 originally.
Okay.
Yeah, so
I thought they were $1,500.
No,
Yeah,
no,
okay.
they were 17 something. And but yeah, they sold those out, and we haven't seen any other place show any stock of those since then. So my assumption is that they are finally all gone.
That's a long time to sell out. That's 6 years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
To sell 1,000 units, that's not a great return on investment.
well, maybe not, but it's it's an expensive piece. There are very, very few bands that put out box sets that are almost $2,000 alone. I mean, who does that?
But it does give an indication of the market, though, doesn't it? Like,
I don't know. Does it? Do you think it does?
I think at 1,000 units, I would have thought there'd be 1,000 people willing to drop $1,500 on this stuff. I mean, look at a concert ticket. If you want to go down the front for an American gig, you're looking at almost $1,000.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure. I don't know, man. I guess I'm just of a different mind, and this will be something interesting for people to, maybe talk about in the comments here. Is I just I don't think there are. I think the amount of people that will spend $2,000 on a Kiss item is much smaller than what we think.
How many volts were there?
How many volts were there? I think
Yeah.
they did 5,000.
And
You
then,
don't want to know how many volts are left.
oh, do you know?
Well, I don't know. No one knows an exact number, but it's a lot.
You would assume a stack.
There's a lot.
Yeah.
Oh, that's good.
So
It's time
So,
for me. Time for me to get a job and get one.
I think maybe one thing aside from price point, if I remember correctly, they announced that those re-releases were happening in 2014. Then they started trickling out, and then was the box set announced after they started coming out? Do you remember? I sort of remember like I've got a lot of these already, and now I have to go back. I guess I
well,
do you
I don't remember. I don't remember the exact timing, but I know that Kisteria shipped in 2 lots,
That's
and
true. Yeah.
and the reason that was because the second batch of records had not been released yet.
Correct.
So, you had to wait for those.
Yeah.
And so I think it was all pretty close to concurrent. Maybe
Was
not
it?
right. It was. I think it was short. If it was not right at the same time, shortly after or something like that. But I'm sure someone will remember because I
Yeah.
just don't.
I could be mistaken, but I thought I had maybe the feeling of, gosh, I've already got a couple of these records, or maybe I had some bunch of them or something. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. I could be.
I don't
wrong on that.
remember. I don't remember. But I know they were pretty close together there. So, but just to briefly talk about the 2014s, and then we'll move on to why we're here. The 2014s, Universal pretty much knocked it out of the park. We all have some complaints, but good God, they did almost 40 records, and there can be mistakes, here and there. But the pressings were great, the sound, the mastering is great. They redid all the inserts, and if you've watched this show for any period of time for the last 4 or 5 years, I've been a huge supporter of what Universal did with those 2014s, and so if you're just now getting into collecting Kiss vinyl, like our partner Nicholas Buckland has, I just got him a whole set of 2014s. He loves them, and they're just great. So
It was cool as an adult to be able to open those records again. I don't know how you guys felt, but to be able to take the shrink wrap off and be able to open a pristine copy of the Dynasty poster or whatever see the tattoos or see the book again, like all that stuff. That was really cool to, and they were done so well. We've talked about that ad nauseum, but yeah, they were very well done.
Yeah, just talk like the German releases, just talking about the attention to detail and how, when they switched over to the alternate logo in the early 80s, when they reissued everything with the alternate logo, those were all bare bone releases. There were no inserts, nothing. And the only place pretty much the logos were altered was on the outside of the cover, But when you look at like the German Dynasty and, anything that has a custom label, all of the logos throughout the whole record, even in the print for the most part, it all has the altered logo, and it's just a super fine attention to detail,
That's another thing that I was thinking from a collector's point of view. Even with the 2014s, there's 3 variants of those, because you've got your European release and they've got the back-to-back sticker on them, which is a different sticker than on the American ones.
Right.
And then you've got the German ones, which are obviously have the logo change on pretty much every logo is changed for those. So if you were just getting into it and you wanted to buy just new stuff without trying to buy sealed records from the 70s, which are going to cost you an awful lot of money, you can still pick these up because they're still pressing them.
Right. Yeah, I didn't even buy a set of the European versions. it was too much.
You know what
There
that
was
means,
just-
Dave? He's not a real fan.
I'm not a real collector.
Well, I mean, we discussed this. He's not. We know that.
I know. It
Yeah.
just gets tiring with him, though. He doesn't buy everything. I don't know why.
What was I thinking?
A break. He's got that thing going on.
I know.
So, but I mean,
Eventually,
buying-
we'll replace him with Nicholas.
That's right.
well,
And then
I wish
replace me
somebody
with
would.
another Australian, and then there you go.
Yeah.
Your conquest will be complete.
It's my Aussie. So, but anyway, so
Yeah.
we'll, so kind of, the end of 2014 there, the whole catalog was out. We had the exclusives, we had Kisteria and all of that stuff, and then it kind of, there were a few things here and there. I think that a Live 35 live record come out at some point in time.
Live 35, and that was the recording at Donington, I believe.
Right, and I don't even know what that was kind of quasi-official. I don't know. It didn't come out anywhere else. Who knows if it was actually really official or not? Was it official? I don't remember.
Was that on? It wasn't Universal. Was it Eagle or one of the smaller?
Could have been. I don't know, but I don't have it here in front of me. I didn't. We didn't. I just figured we were going to start off with the Destroyer red vinyl, and then finding it. No, I'm not going to find it, but.
That's what we told you we were going to do.
Dave, get the stopwatch ready.
No, not doing it.
Go.
Play this shit. No.
Find it.
No.
Let's play Will Jason Herndon Find Anything?
So, anyway, the point is, it was a little quiet, and then in 2018, it kind of all exploded again for Kiss vinyl, and a lot of stuff started coming out. A lot of colored vinyl, and then especially when we got into 2019, we had a lot of anniversary editions of records. And but let's start talking about them. Not in any particular, doesn't have to be in any particular order. Let's just kind of talk about what we started seeing in 2018. So, what's up first?
Well, can I just ask one question before we get into that? Because there is one thing that sits outside of Kisteria, and it is a colored vinyl, and it is topical, and that's Sonic Boom. That it came out in 5 colors, black, and then each of the profile colors. And because that's now being counterfeited, if you are getting into this collecting now, you need to be aware that there are counterfeit versions of at least 2 of those colors. The giveaway
I think it's all of them now.
Oh, really? The giveaway is that they're not a gatefold sleeve.
Correct. So
the official versions were in a gatefold sleeve, and they're really limited and really hard to find. The original, and they sold on Kiss Online, right?
Right. They sold originally. What was this, all the way back in 2009? Dave's taking us to another 2 decades ago. Yeah.
Well, he's talking about it, I think, too, because it wasn't in the box, in the Kisteria box set. Probably because of the licensing issues, and that's why it remained outside of the box set. So.
Right. So so Sonic Boom came out in 2009, and they did 4 color and then black, and then there were some limited edition signed versions with the signatures under the seal that I think Kiss Army Warehouse had sold, but those things were gone quickly, a couple of days at best, and they did 1,000 of each, and they just don't come up anymore. They're very expensive, but we've seen a ton of counterfeits lately. Like Dave said, for sure 2 colors. I think I've seen a couple more, but for sure 2 colors. Like you said, the counterfeits are not gatefold. The hype sticker is a different size than the original one. I can't remember, is it bigger or smaller?
Bigger.
I don't know. It's bigger, and also it doesn't have the poster, and it doesn't have the legal lines.
That's what I remember on the back and the bottom of the record, right? On the back of the sleeve, there's no legal, right? Yeah.
Yeah, it has no legal lines.
It's priced around $50
or less.
And you can't get a copy of Sonic Boom, an original pressing of Sonic Boom, for, let's say, $250, $300.
Right.
So if the starting price is under that, then you're probably buying a counterfeit.
Yeah. Correct. Yeah. And I actually had someone message me a couple days ago and said, "Man, I think I found a great deal here at this record store. They've got a Sonic Boom for $30." And I went, there's no way. And and that's the first thing I asked him, was it gatefold? And he said, no. And I said, well, then it's a counterfeit. So he was bummed out. But not only that, we've seen an abundance of Love Gun counterfeits, multiple colors,
different colors in the
red, white,
pink,
like neon green, pink, just all across the board. And in addition to that, there's one of them, I believe. Is it Love Gun? Or maybe it's a Hotter Than Hell counterfeit. One of them has a poster now. I think there's a Hotter Than Hell counterfeit that has a poster or something like. Anyway, there's a litany of counterfeits that have come out, and it seems like they're all, coming out of, they may even be coming out of the UK, I don't know, but there's a whole bunch of them. So just beware. If that's your thing to collect them, fine. But,
just know what you're buying. Yeah, be aware of what it is, yeah.
So what we're going to touch on today is we're just going to go through the official releases, the variations on the official releases, and where they came out, what they contain, what they look like.
Yep.
From Kisteria on.
Yep. So let's talk about this Red Destroyer or Swirl. Was it a Red Swirl Destroyer that came out in 2018? This might have been the first one. I believe it was the first one we saw, right?
I think so.
Yeah, the Universal kind of just did it. It kind of came out of the blue, really.
Right, and what you'll see, in common with a lot of these anniversary editions is essentially they're reusing the 2014 jackets for the most part. We'll get into a set that they didn't, but for the most part they reuse the 2014 jackets, and many times they'll cover up the old barcode with a new barcode. So they just have all these extra parts and pieces sitting there for whenever they need more 2014 destroyers. They only press so many at a time, maybe 1,000, 1,500, something like that. And so they have all the parts and pieces still sitting there because they overprinted all of that stuff. And so, so this is a 2014 jacket, and this just kind of came up out of the blue. I mean, as everybody knows, I work in a vinyl distributor, but these are all direct to consumers, so you couldn't buy these in the store. Mm-hmm. All of this stuff is, for the most part, is either Sound of Vinyl, Kiss Online, Universal Direct, basically.
But this was the launch of Sound of Vinyl as well. This was almost a way of getting people to sign up to Sound of Vinyl as a text service.
Right, exactly. Yeah, you could either order it via their website, or you could have it texted to you, and you could agree to set up an account, agree to buy, and then it was just purchased directly that way.
That's how they got me. Yeah.
Yep. I still get Sound of Vinyl text every day at 2:30. I get a text.
I asked them to stop.
I want to keep them doing it because I want to be the first, or try to be the first to know when something else is coming. So, but it's got the inner sleeve, and this is the 2014. You're not going to be able to see it, but on the bottom, it's 2014. But what's cool is they press this beautiful baby. This is, in my opinion, one of the better looking records that they've done so far. It's this kind of translucent red and black swirl kind of thing, and it's got the 2014 labels on them. So everything is exactly the same as the 2014, except for the color of the vinyl. And
I think the color choice is good on that one as well, because they've made some questionable color choices as well.
Correct.
Yeah, it goes back to our initial discussion on one of the episodes, Dave. You and I got into talking about what would be. It seemed like there was kind of this was put together in a little bit of a slapdash kind of a way. There was no thought of, okay, here, we're going to re-release everything on colored vinyl. Here are the colors that make sense for each of these. Like, I think Nicholas is collecting the Queen
singles, the UK singles.
The single pieces, and they all each have a piece of vinyl with a color that makes sense, with the actual record itself. So, yeah, this kind of seems like, it's not that red and black swirl is a good or bad choice. It just doesn't seem like, you almost think that they would have done the whole line as like a swirl, or done the whole line as, some sort of like maybe Dress to Kill is black and white and Dynasty is silver and black, and you know what I mean. You do something all the way down the line, and there's some sort of cohesiveness to all the vinyl rather than just colored vinyl. But it didn't seem like they did that. It seemed like they kind of.
We're assuming there's no one guardian at Universal that's just looking after this particular artist. You have the feeling that people are probably taking on these projects piecemeal, and they're going, "Oh, that's a nice color," or "We have lots of that," or "It worked well last time."
The next one up is what color should it be?
Having a helicopter view of the whole thing, the whole catalog.
Right.
But this was quite nice. The other thing that this did was, this was the start of the Kiss Online. So KOL have offered bundles. Since this came out, they started with a bundle, and this was the one that we thought we'd seen, but we weren't quite sure of because there were so few of these. And I sent you through the screen grab of the initial offer.
Yeah, we'll
throw that up there. Yep.
Look at it right now. So, because there's been a lot of doubt as to whether or not this actually happened, because there were only 50 of these made. So apparently the record was pressed 3,000 of these pressed, but the KOL bundle had this 2-color Destroyer t-shirt, and they had 50 of those. And I found a guy that had one that said he would maybe sell it to me, and he never has. But because I bought all the bundles subsequent to that, I really would love that t-shirt.
And is that the only piece? That's the only extra piece in that bundle? So it's the record and the shirt?
The initial bundle was that. So KOL did a weird thing. They did exclusive bundles for the first 2, and then they did bundles, but also unbundled them.
Right.
So you could buy the bundle and pay $100, or you could buy the record and then you could go back in and you could buy the t-shirt and buy the pen and buy the other things separately, which to me kind of defeated the purpose of an exclusive.
It's exactly why I stopped buying, the bundles, because they just, you could piecemeal them together and there's no exclusivity to them. And some of the stuff they were sticking with them just didn't make any sense to me. Like, it makes no sense that did Dynasty have a coffee cup or wouldn't? Didn't
no, that was. I haven't opened mine yet. Mine is in LA somewhere, but I think it's either Hotter Than Hell or Hot in the Shed or Hotter Than Hell coffee cup.
But in any event, they started throwing bizarre stuff in these bundles that you were like, what?
Yeah.
Were they coasters? I don't know. There's just bizarre stuff that they just started throwing. Yeah.
Debut album.
Yeah. So, but what is amazing about this Destroyer is there are literally only 50 of those T-shirts out there. I mean, I'm sure there's some overruns, but really, there are 50 of those T-shirts. It was gone immediately. It was gone before anybody knew it was even available, for the most part. And so
there are guys in the group. There are guys in the Facebook group that have these, which I think is
of course there. Yeah. So there's a hell of a collectible right there, because that, in my opinion, the T-shirt's really cool, and it wasn't a T-shirt and Joe hates it. And,
it's not that I hate it. I guess when you say it's a hell of a collectible, yes, it's a hell of a collectible. We kind of had this discussion off camera too. If a tree falls in the forest and nobody's there to hear it, does it make a sound, kind of a thing? Like, I don't know. If a Destroyer 2-color shirt went up on eBay today, there would be so many people who didn't even know what that was. They might just go, "Oh, it's a $16.99 T-shirt."
But all you need is 2 people in our group that know what it is that's searching it. Dave Scott.
I just don't.
I mean, for me, because I bought the bundles, I really want that T-shirt.
I bet it goes for under $100.
If money wasn't an issue, Dave, and you were in a bidding war with somebody over that T-shirt, what would you go up to?
If money wasn't an issue, I wouldn't give a fuck, because money is not an issue.
No. At some point, though, you got to be realistic. You're not paying $1,000 for a Destroyer T-shirt that was released in 2018.
Why wouldn't you? If you were Jeff Bezos, you would have 47 people every day looking at eBay and Discogs, and they'd have their headgear on and their virtual Kiss reality, heads up display, and they'd be like, "We've got one incoming," and they'd just be like, "Beep bot, and it would be
Okay, you got $500 to spend. Do you spend $500 on it?
No, I think realistically that bundle came out. The bundle was like $50. Mm-hmm. I think potentially it's worth $100. Yeah. I don't know that it's worth more than that because they're just not at the moment. I don't put a huge value on, with the exception of the.
It's just so weird.
Even the exclusives from the Kisteria box. I don't know. There's
people don't seem to care.
It's like there's 1,000 units of those, but there's only 50 of these T-shirts.
Mm-hmm. And nobody cares.
Not as much of a
Now hold on. You guys are saying you don't think people care about Greatest Kiss?
No, not Greatest Kiss. I think you're talking about the dominoes and the photos and
nobody
stuff.
cares about that.
Yeah.
Nobody cares about
the
posters.
But yeah,
sure,
so it's back to the collector's mentality of why not? There's only 1,000 on the
it's a good question.
On the Earth. I mean,
why was Greatest Kiss, singled out to be the piece of the collection that is worth a ton of money, but the dominoes, which is numbers in the same amount, mean nothing to anybody.
Yes, people don't care about dominoes with the Kiss logo on it.
You can't say that. There are domino collectors out there that...
Sure.
There are domino collectors out there who don't give a shit that the Kiss logo is on. On dominoes, right? So I don't know. It's a weird one. It just goes to show you that scarcity alone doesn't define a collectible, right?
Sure. Yeah. It's a good point. It's a good discussion.
And you had the vinyl collectors saying, well, here's a piece that has never been issued on vinyl before.
Right.
So all the other records in there had come out at some stage.
In some form, yeah.
Yeah.
True. But the dominoes had never been issued before.
And that's because people collect
dominoes with the Kiss logo on it. Yeah, I get it. Okay, so that came out, and and we're pretty sure that sold out. You can't get it anymore.
Well, they did the weird thing. They sold them in the UK. Mm-hmm. They didn't sell them. No, they sold them in America. They said it was sold out. Mm-hmm. And then they put them for sale in the UK, and it seems like it was the rest of what they didn't sell in America. I don't know the exact count. They said there was 3,000, but they popped up for sale in the UK, and they were the US.
Right. But as we'll see as we talk about the rest of these, all the rest of the releases were pretty much limited in the same amount of numbers. We all have reached out and heard certain numbers on each one of these releases from Sound of Vinyl, and it seems like they're all in the 3,000, 4,000 range or something like that. But you can go to Sound of Vinyl today and still buy all of the rest of these. You can't buy Destroyer anymore. So
that also begs the question, is 3,000 really a collectible number?
Well, I mean,
where's that breaking point,
Right. You start getting it, and we have this discussion all the time as far as our projects go. Where is the number? Because there's only so many people. People look at Kiss as one of the most collectible bands in the world, but there really are only so many people that buy this stuff. And
it goes interest very quickly. You go from a wider collectibles group to maybe like only vinyl and then vintage vinyl, and then you know what I mean. It just gets very narrow very fast.
I mean, I think it's clear that they can't seem to sell out 3,000 copies of the rest of these records that are great records. Rock and Roll Over, you can still get that.
Is the assumption incorrect then? Maybe. Because Sound of Vinyl never really came out and said these are limited to 3,000.
Yeah, some of us texted Sound of Vinyl and asked them how many there were, and they had responded with numbers. So, I think there's legitimacy to the numbers that we're mentioning, because people have heard back from the Sound of Vinyl at how many they did, and they were quick to answer. Hey, I know this is limited. How many did you guys do? Oh, we did 3,000 or whatever it was.
3,000 in that case, I won't buy it.
Right.
So,
right.
You know what I mean? What's the number on that stuff?
I don't know.
And if there were 3,000 of Destroyer, if that's the number on Destroyer, do we know that that's the number on Destroyer? Was that question asked of Sound of Vinyl, and we got a response back on Destroyer?
I don't
remember
recall
seeing something that said 3,000. I can't pull it up right now. I've only got the thing to say how many were on the KOL bundle, but I believe that was 3,000. I thought the first two Universal releases were 3,000, and then it got really things got muddy after that.
Yeah,
right.
My point is, okay, so you come out of the gate with Destroyer 3,000 sells out, right? Then you come back with, was it Rock and Roll Over next, or whatever the next release was? That one still exists out there. Why? I mean,
right.
That's weird to me.
That's a good question. I want to know that. I want to know that. Why did that many more people go and buy Destroyer, which most people arguably consider as not as good a record in their top 5 as Rock and Roll Over? Most people list Rock and Roll Over as their favorite.
You wonder, is it that symptom of the Black Originals box set from Japan, right? Then the red one comes out and everybody goes, oh, now they're just going to release all of them on colored vinyl. And I am not diving into that pool to buy all of this stuff. I'm done with Destroyer. I'm not doing this again where I'm going to buy 40 pieces of vinyl all colored and go down
absolutely
that thing
think
again,
that has something to do with it. The fatigue of the whole thing absolutely is a component of it.
And that's scary. If the fatigue hits after one colored record, holy moly. That's some serious fatigue setting in. And I know, Dave, you've talked a lot about that, right? You're a big believer of that fatigue and, them being on tour and, where's the money going and all that stuff, Yeah.
I mean, if they're not on tour, so let's say you want a third row ticket and the backstage, the cheapest backstage option, the captain's thing, whatever the hell that is. That's $1,700 in America. Like in Europe, it's cheaper. You get a general admission ticket. It's £50. You can go anywhere. And then if you want to do any of the other stuff, it costs. But the guitar, the meet and greet, those things, that's a $4,000 thing or a $6,000 purchase. That's thousands of dollars that most people will have to save for. So if a record comes out that they already own because they bought them in 2014, you've got to make a choice. You're at least splitting your market, aren't you? Or at the very least, we're just getting into what we discussed before, where it's only the people that can afford it that are doing this. Nobody's overextending to buy a record that they've already got a couple of times already.
Yeah, I think that also speaks to what we were talking about earlier with this finite amount of people that actually buy this stuff, where you put out a Destroyer, say the band isn't on tour at the time, and it comes out and everybody's excited about it, and it sells out quickly, and then then you get into these situations where others come out, and then you got the band on tour, so people are having to split their money, like you're saying. And then you just get down to where it's just this finite amount of vinyl collectors that are going to go out there and buy this. So all of a sudden you've cut off the general collector or the general consumer that might pay $25.
Yeah, you have the group and then you have it again and then you have it. And now you get down to a very finite amount of people who are interested in buying it. And now they just, who knows if they're going to even make the decision to buy it. You know what I mean? Like after that's all cut apart. It's one of those. I've talked about it a lot. Third Man Records. I think they've done a masterful job with marketing, not talking about how many of anything, putting out colored vinyl. You can only get it certain places. You have to walk into the place and get it, and you know what I mean. It's become a little bit of a different. It's a different mentality rather than saying Floodgates Destroyer, Floodgates Rock and Roll Over colored vinyl, 3,000. Here's a and you get a lighter with it. It's like, what the hell, right? It's just like It's interesting when some of these companies do. Vinyl Me Please, I think, is doing a great job of saying, hey, this is the way we're doing it. We're putting an interesting kind of like Obi type thing on it, and it's numbered, and it's got the Vinyl Me Please stamp on the back of the record and all that stuff. There's a different level of collectability where if you said, hey, there's 600 of these records on the planet, people would snap them up, and you could probably charge more money and get the same amount of money as 3,000 people buying it at more of a quote-unquote retail price. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you're essentially just describing our business plan.
Right.
Just basically, the episode prior to this, when we talked about the Ace Frehley record and what all we did to set that up. Joe and I are collectors, and we basically, and fans, and we looked at this stuff and said, what is not being done with these records that we would love to see being done with these records, and let's make this as sought after, as wanted as they possibly can be. Of course, we have to, charge a premium price for it, because to do all those things, it's very expensive, as we explained before. But people are willing to pay a little more for it
if it's special. Yeah.
If it's special, and we put as many special things in that as we could stuff in there, and not lose our asses on it. And these things are just not, just as we were saying, these things are just, as much as I love colored vinyl, this is not special.
It's just more.
Right, it's just more.
It's just more stuff. And I guess
Universal isn't a boutique, and that's not how their business is set up.
And it's just not Kiss. It's not just Kiss. If you look at the Sound of Vinyl, it's their whole catalog.
Absolutely.
They're doing it with everything. So we're not bagging on Kiss here.
Of course.
It's just the example. If they would have taken a little more time and pressed up some new jackets, made it gatefold, redid the Japanese Canadian version, and just did something different and special with it, instead of just a cash grab, which I'm okay with cash grabs for the most part. I bought all these.
Well, I think that's a misnomer too, to say cash grab. Cash grab to me means somebody did some bean counter going, we're going to do this, and that could very well be the case, but they wouldn't do it if there wasn't a market out there for it. You know what I mean? So I don't know. Cash grab to me has a little bit of a diabolical and negative connotation, and I feel like any of us, if we had content and you could repackage it, spin it in a different way, throw it out there again, and make it make it special. You would. I'm not saying you don't want to take advantage of the market, I guess, is what I'm saying. But at the same time, if there is a market for it, you're going to do it, right?
Of course, you're going to do it. But I'm just saying there was no thought process in this at all.
That's right.
And you put it out for absolutely minimal cost. They've got no money in anything except to run a press of the vinyl. The everything else is still there. It's not like a Beatles project where they send somebody in there to spend 6 months to a year remixing the whole record and spending hundreds of thousands of dollars.
Because
probably.
They know that the Abbey Road 50th anniversary edition, they can release it as a single record, a double record, and a box set, and that thing's going to be on the top 10 vinyl sales list.
Sure.
Every year, every month, every year.
But there was something. Every one of those packages, there was something very special about each one of them. Yeah. And I guess by the term cash grab, I'm just using it as saying there was really no deep thought put into this. It's just, let's just put colored vinyl out, and I think that eventually turns a lot of people off over time.
Right, and that's where the fatigue comes back in. I think that Dave has talked about so much. It's like, oh man, now in orange, rock and roll over.
Not everybody's like me, who is a sucker. God. Yeah, no shit.
Jeez.
And is a sucker for this shit, and will just,
right.
Really.
We've said it over and over again. You look at these box sets that have come out. Like, look at that Appetite for Destruction box set. Yeah. Holy hell, how great was that? Now, I'm not big on the big, I'm not interested in the big box that it came in or whatever, but all the stuff that came in it was killer. Or you look at those 45 RPM releases that Metallica did, or you look at the box set releases that they did. They're beautiful, but I sort of feel like, I don't know what Guns N' Roses license agreement, where that all stands now, but Metallica owns all their own stuff.
Correct.
That Motley Crue owns all their own stuff.
Correct.
So they have a big motivation to go and say, hey, we want to repackage Shout at the Devil, but let's really kill it and make a $200 box out of it, or whatever whatever they do. Whereas Kiss and Universal seem to be a little bit at loggerheads over. Gene and Paul aren't that enthused about sitting down and writing liner notes for any of these records, and for giving up tapes, or whoever owns all that stuff that's laying around that we could have some extended editions of.
Well, that's just and we've all talked about this on the episodes and offline about, we know soundboard recordings exist of live shows that supported each of these albums. They might not be amazing recordings, but they exist. They could easily gatefold these records and put a live recording in there with it. That would give even the average collector a reason to buy another copy of it. I mean,
absolutely.
Half of our lives buying these records are spent saying to our partners, the reason I've got another version of this record is because.
Right.
And so there needs to be some kind of difference, because we have to justify it to somebody at some stage. Right. And I think it gets harder to do with the new releases, the less difference there is. If the only difference is it's a colored vinyl and we don't see it tripling in value in the next 6 months, then we just keep our money and we wait for the next one to come out.
Yeah, that's the thing. You not only have to justify it to someone, but you have to justify it to yourself.
Yeah.
Does it make any sense to go out and, and Joe's a prime example of this. He's very picky about he doesn't have all of these. He's picky about which ones he wants to buy, So, I mean, that's a prime example right there of that collector that's out here. He's not in here that buys all of them. He's out here and he picks and chooses. And if it's not compelling enough, they won't buy it.
It's interesting. You look at if you came out with a 45 RPM, let's say, debut record, and you started a box set run of all the Kiss stuff, that stuff I think would sell. You could charge $100 a box, and they would sell like that, because they're 45 RPM. They've been half-speed mastered. They've gone back in. Somebody did liner notes. Even something like that.
Yep.
You could sell almost every record through, let's say, maybe Creatures, let's say the Makeup era. You could sell every record in a box set, 45 RPM, half-speed mastered. People, I would buy all of them.
I would too.
But it's really interesting, where it's just like, it smacks of, and back to your term for it, Jason, that cash grab, where 2014 labels, it's 2014 jackets. It looks to a collector like, they just had this stuff sitting in a warehouse and went, well, we've got it. Why not?
That's exactly what it was.
Right.
How can we turn this stuff into cash? We need cash flow from this stuff. We've invested in all the print. So how do we turn it into cash? Well, we do what's the end thing now, and we'll just press it on colored vinyl. We'll throw it in the same stuff. There's little to no investment, and I mean, they probably made more money off these than they made off the original runs of them in 2014.
I even wonder if you went, we're going to start with the first record, then we're going to do Hotter Than Hell, then we're going to do Dress to Kill. If there was even some semblance of some sort of a marketing plan behind any of this stuff, we all might have gone, oh, cool, we know what's coming next. I can't wait for Unmasked to come out if I'm a big Unmasked fan, or whatever it is. But it's like, Hot in the Shade, where the hell did that come from? I think what
happened, once they got into anniversaries.
Right. That's what happened. So, they did the first two, which were not, there were off years.
Right, but this is my point. It's just like, oh, now it's an anniversary. But there's been plenty of other anniversaries that have gone right by that,
Right.
I don't know.
certainly not a well-executed marketing plan.
You wouldn't think so. Especially if you were doing a quote-unquote cash grab. That doesn't take that much thought to go, let's put these out in an orderly fashion so people know what's coming. There's an expectation. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
We interrupt our program to bring you this important message.
Hey there, since the theme today is vinyl, I thought I'd pull out some of my mini vinyl. Woo! 7-inch singles. These are some of my favourites. I love the artwork on this. So I don't collect them for any reason or any completist kind of thing. I kind of collect them just because I like the cover and the artwork. So I'll show you what I got. I got, The Oath. Bloody Oath. That's a really cool one. I've got Rocket Ride. Love that one. I think it's French, actually. Look at Tomorrow and Tonight. There is the second one. That's a really cool cover. Oops. Sorry about that. I Was Made for Loving You. Disco Rock. We've got another I Was Made for Loving You. Obviously Japanese this time from Victor. We've got Sure I Know Something in this lovely green. That's pretty amazing. It's got a great discography at the back. I think that is, that's French as well. Discography. Here we got Tomorrow and Tonight. Oh, not Tomorrow and Tonight, sorry. My mistake. Tomorrow is what I meant. Backed with Is That You? It's very hard to read backwards. Another one from the same kind of era, Magic Touch. I love that kind of typography on there. Very cool. Magic Touch. Backed with Save Your Love. And the final one I really like is my signed copy of I Love It Loud with Mr. Vinnie Vincent signing it. Love the back, very cool there. So yeah, that's my mini vinyl wrap up today. So yeah, not much, just that's what I'd like to show. But anyway, I Love It Loud.
All right, so Rock and Roll Over's next, we believe, right?
Yep. So also in 2018, they decided to do the same thing. Also, not an anniversary edition, but we have Rock and Roll Over, and what's interesting on my copy is the record opens here, but the hype sticker is, probably can't see it, but the hype sticker is
sideways.
So, but anyway, it's the same thing. 2014 jacket. It just has the limited edition UPC barcode over it. Joe has it there too.
Yeah, mine is not by the way.
Good.
Yeah,
good.
Right.
It's a variant.
It came. There were 4 variations of this, right? There was this one. There was this version.
Now, from a collector's point of view, and again, if Universal were paying attention, if this was something they were into, they would know that hype stickers are a big deal. Mm-hmm. We like them because we differentiate things. It gives us an excuse to buy another one.
Sure.
So it's kind of a shame to me that the hype sticker is the same hype sticker as what they used on the Soundgarden limited edition vinyl releases as well.
Yeah, they're just printing out limited edition.
Yep.
And again, it's not like there's, Jason, like the 2020 Start Your Ear Off Right releases, right? If you went, or even the Back to Black, or whatever they are, if you go, okay, this is a group of releases, and we're going to put the same hype sticker on all of these to consolidate these and make them cohesive that way, that makes sense. But Kiss and Soundgarden, it's just like, hey, does anybody have a hype sticker? And they're like, well, yeah, we got a warehouse full of those Soundgarden stickers, and what the hell?
Yeah.
Oh, the guy that did Rock and Roll Over, his next project was Soundgarden.
Right.
And he went, I'm going to use that sticker.
Well, and also, and to your point, Dave, I mean, as a Kiss fan, wouldn't it be nice to have something that that related to the record as a hype sticker?
With the saw cut, something like that. You got a die cut. Do a die cut anyway.
And we all know these don't cost much rolls of stickers, you know what I mean? So it's, I don't know, interesting.
Just other missed opportunities. So,
no doubt.
But this, also came with the sticker that came in.
Yep.
And it's 2014, and the sleeve is 2014. Actually, the sleeve is 1976. Def Jam. Figure that one out. So,
wow.
But it's the 2014 sleeve.
That's just a lazy graphic designer grabbing an old file. Am I right, Dave?
Yep. So,
Actually,
this one we got translucent orange, which looks cool, and orange goes with Rock and Roll Over. And if we hadn't seen this color again...
Well, it looks cool in and of itself, but again, in this group of releases, you've done a red and black swirl, and now you're like...
So you've done an opaque, now you're doing a translucent. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Now the next one better be different, right?
It better be. So, but again, 2014 labels.
Yeah.
So, they're 180 gram. They feel great.
Ish.
Ish. 180-ish or feel great-ish?
180-ish.
Well,
Now,
I think...
the thing about these two is they were only only US releases, weren't they? These were only pressed in the US. There's no EU version, there's no German version of these.
Not that I am aware of. If anybody else is aware of...
No, I don't. I think these were strictly US releases, and then they were shipped overseas.
So, Jason, did you buy the bundle on this one? Because this one was offered as a KOL Kiss Online special Happy Fun Time bundle as well.
Right. I did buy this bundle, and I know that Dave has all the bundles except for the first one, so he could have shown all this stuff. But I only bought a couple of the bundles, and I bought this bundle because, and I don't know if this...
Do you have the stuff there? You have the stuff in front of you? Okay.
Did you buy the bundle?
I did, yeah.
Okay, well, you can show too.
That's all right.
So, but I bought the bundle because I thought this kind of, what is this, like monochrome?
Yeah, foil, yeah.
Foil sticker. I'm not looking at it from your design eyes, but I love it. I think it's cool.
Great. I got to tell you that for being a Rock and Roll Over fan and getting a different sticker of some type, I thought was just that was awesome. However,
and this is
hold that up to the other. Do you have the other sticker there?
The record sticker?
Yeah.
I can.
I can just show them here.
What point are you trying to make?
Sizes?
Oh yeah, show that.
It's like what? Yeah. What? Like what are we doing here?
So what, you think this one should have been bigger?
It's just weird to me. Like why did we seem so arbitrary again? You get a tiny sticker. Relative to the size of the original. Now, you already have the die for the segmented sticker. Why not do a segmented version?
Remake the segmented in a foil.
I don't know.
That wouldn't have been a bad idea.
The one for me was the pin.
Yeah, I'm getting there.
I don't collect pins, but the sticker but the pin looks amazing.
Yeah,
right. So also in this bundle is this pin, and I don't know how well that's coming across.
For a second there.
Huh?
Back up a little bit.
Back slide.
Right there.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah.
So anyway, these are the logos.
It's the inner sleeve logo, right?
Right.
Now, can you buy those? I don't believe you can buy this anywhere else. I think that was only exclusive to the bundle.
Right. We probably should have researched, but I'm pretty sure that this was another reason why I bought this, because I believe these pieces, this for sure, I believe the sticker was only available in the bundle, and so this stuff is, as far as I know, this stuff is gone. Also in the bundle was a play on the a T-shirt that's kind of a play on that foil sticker that looks like this.
I love that shirt.
I do too.
That's got a metallic look to it as well.
Yes, it's very metallic. It's bizarre looking, man. But yeah, I think it's killer. I wish I'd have bought two bundles, because to have one shirt to wear and one shirt not to wear. Shake your head, Joe.
Oh boy.
So
his spending patterns just exhaust me.
says the man who just spent on some vinyl.
Second-hand vinyl. That it's not even new.
Not even new, Joe.
It's not even new. It's not even in the shrink. Doesn't even have a shitty hype sticker on it.
That's right. It's the shitty hype sticker. So we got Rock and Roll Destroyer and Rock and Roll Over. Excuse me. And
by the way, didn't you just pay on some vinyl as well?
I did. I'm dying over here. Sorry.
Okay. Yeah.
I did pay some for some vinyl as well.
And Dave would as well. So there you go.
Yes.
No. I'm
I said you would.
Right now. No. I'm stronger
What?
than you.
Whatever. You gotta be kidding. That's one of the hardest records in the world to find, and you wouldn't pay for it.
People aren't going to know what you're mm-hmm-ing about until the next episode either. So move along.
Dave's down in Australia getting the glass cutter ready for Jason's studio window. Pop it out, climb through, grab the.
No, it's stolen for another 3 years.
You wouldn't know.
No.
It's there somewhere. You're nuts. All right.
I'm just going to photocopy it, leave the photocopy, take the original.
That's right.
Anyway.
On to the next.
Along.
Well, the next big thing in 2018 was, now this release should have sold out faster than anything else, given what preceded it. You know, we wanted, we know that is it Uruguay? So South America is the only country that produced the solo albums on colored vinyl.
Ecuador.
And for years, we've been talking about wanting a colored vinyl solo album.
You
because
could go to our
single,
groups anytime, take your mouse and spin it anywhere, and somebody would have said, why aren't they doing a box of colored? I would buy a solo colored. Why aren't they? It came up all the time.
Yeah.
All the time. And how much? What are those South American ones sell for? And they're beat to shit. Like they're always
hundreds and hundreds of dollars.
Yes.
And I'm guessing you don't even have them, Joe.
I don't.
Yeah.
Because they wouldn't be.
Very few people have them.
Yeah.
So yes, it's a shocker that this is not sold out. And on top of that, there was even a big sale last year where they were available for $100. Because these originally sold for $199.
Yeah, you can get them for $150, and then if you wait until you get one of the vouchers when they do one of their sales, you get a 25% off voucher, and that bundle is always up there to be bought.
Right.
And on top of that, so what we're talking about is the solo box set of all four colored solo records. Each of the members of the band had their character color assigned. That's what they did for the vinyl. Jason, do you have any of them there to show?
I have every bit of it. I'm about to show it. So, and here is where they really drove off the path that's way different than the rest of the U.S. vinyl
And this
releases.
one's bizarre to me, too. Go ahead. I know where you're headed with it. I don't understand it, but go ahead.
Well, at least there was thought put into this. Unlike, so this is where we deviate from the plan, and they're not reusing...
Again.
And
we're going to put the plan in giant quotes here.
Yeah.
Plan is not to use the plan.
Right.
and they're doing a hell of a job.
They are. It's cunning.
Right. So they're not reusing jackets, 2014 jackets. They're not reusing 2014 labels, but so here's the solo album box set, with that kind of silhouetting printing, and then the
varnish, the clear varnish on a matte black.
Yep. With the silver Kiss logo, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
So this thing comes out, and then we get.
And it feels premium. The thing feels.
Yeah.
It
feels like it's worth the money.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah. And then we get this slip mat.
Which again, holy hell.
Yeah, Joe's not a design fan. I do have the platinum record that you could order and personalize up here, and that's the label it has on the platinum record, is this same thing here. So
because again, if you're going to do a slip mat and you're you're thinking about the design, isn't Rock and Roll Over the one that's built as a circle, and it's like that?
Yes,
that's why the picture disc. The Holland picture disc is so, as we assume, is because that's the one that's made for it. But no, we're going to put it into the solo records and do some kind of...
Right.
Yeah.
I don't hate on that design because of the number of times we've seen that artwork be used, and whether it's stacking them, putting them side by side, that those faces have appeared in many different ways. I don't think it's the worst we've seen. It's not terribly elegant, but it's not the worst thing we've seen.
That's a hell of an endorsement. I used to tell people in my design group, I don't hate it. And it would just leave them completely dejected. What's that?
This is the best of bad stuff.
Yeah.
So, then we get to the records. So, obviously 180 gram, maybe even more. They feel pretty thick. But these are entirely reprinted jackets. The construction of the jacket is different than any of that. These are tip-on sleeve jackets, right?
It's reminiscent of the first issue of the first album, isn't it?
Where there's a giant sticker on the back part because of the way that the cardboard is constructed. That's why they call it a tip-on. Yeah. There's a giant paper piece that's stuck on to the back of the cardboard.
Right.
Do you think they went to a different production plant to do this? Is that why because this is inconsistent with everything that Universal have done?
So there is like in jazz circles, right? This tip-on jacket was used way back in the day, and I think people it lends some collectible feel to it, because a lot of times jazz records, when they're being reproduced, they'll say, we're reproducing the tip-on jacket as it was, meant to be originally, like all that stuff, like it goes back. So I don't know, who the hell knows why they did this? It's weird, but they did. So
it's beautiful. It feels different. It feels big and heavy and substantial.
Sure, yes. and the actual substrate that they used for them is more of a matte kind of a feel than they used for the 2014s. Yeah. It feels heavier and different,
Right. Stand corrected here. They did reuse the inner sleeves. These are 2014 inner sleeves on the inside. Okay. They say 2014 at the bottom. So they did include the puzzle posters. So I'm not going to open all of these up.
Which, again, is weird to me because, while I think it's cool that they included them, here's your opportunity to do some kind of cool, different poster. Like maybe do like one big poster because they're all in the same box. Why not do one that's where they're all connected, or do something different?
Maybe, yeah.
Just for another level of collectability with this stuff, if you're doing it.
These records weren't sealed either, were they?
No, the records. Yeah, I'm going to talk about that in a minute too. So, anyway, this is where we get into some weirdness, okay? Because we all know that you can have different coloring variations whenever you do colored vinyl. There's something left in the extruder. Something gets mixed up.
And we'll get to that later, because, boy, was there a firestorm on one of these records. Holy
we sure
hell.
Will.
My Facebook was lit on fire for 6 months over that one. The record we'll talk about in a minute.
Right. So, we get Gene here in this premium solid red color, slightly opaque, slightly
translucent.
Huh?
Slightly translucent.
Slightly translucent, right. And also, I believe these are new labels. They do not say 2014 or 2018 on them anywhere. They just say 1978. But, so you get this color red with Gene. And
that's beautiful. That in itself is something that we've been wanting forever.
Yep. So, and then
I wouldn't say we, but okay.
So we'll move on to Paul. Same stuff on the inside again. And then we get a slightly marbled purple instead of a solid purple.
This makes no sense. You could just see the guy walking up to the vat, and he's got white pellets in one hand and purple in the other, and he's like, oh, and drops them.
Right. Right.
And they're like, oh my God, and I just go with it.
That was supposed to be translucent. Nobody will ever know.
Right.
Right. So it's not translucent. It's solid purple marbled. So
Which
there
drives
was
me.
just
It drives me insane, Dave. I don't know how you feel about it, but it just drives me crazy.
absolutely.
I'm absolutely caught because there was a part of me irritated that they weren't consistent. So I remember buying the singles when I was a kid, and they were all this translucent vinyl, and they look gorgeous. And there's a part of me going, why aren't they being consistent? Why are they not? And there's another part of me going, shut the fuck up. This is really good that they've done these. I think these are $100 a piece, these records, because we wanted them so much. And I thought that's what they'd be able to sell them for.
Yep.
All new covers, new vinyl, the way that we've always wanted. They should have been able to ask $100 a piece, and we should have snapped them up.
But again,
didn't happen.
And again, they just missed the boat for me. They just missed put a new label on it. It's such a or put a label on it that's somehow custom that says that this is for this release, so like make the whole thing special from top to bottom. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's like, this is
It's interesting that you say that, because there's a part of me that enjoys that idea, but there's also a part of me that's like, I really want this to be the original label, and I really want the inner sleeve to be the same.
Well, all I mean is just put
upgraded.
2018 on it. Put some.
Absolutely.
We're always saying, hey, if you're gonna reproduce something, at least put a marking on it so we know that nobody else can go, hey, that's this record, or you know what I mean. So like, it just smacks to me again of, we've got this piece laying around. Like we've done a run of these records, and now we're out of, but we got these, so let's grab those and throw them in there. And who cares, blue or red and purple-ish and translucent.
Purple-ish.
It's just I don't know.
So for Joe's bursting everybody's bubble, here's your ace, which is blue, light blue. I would have thought this should have been a darker blue that more closely matched, the blue on the album cover. But maybe that's, I don't know. Maybe it's not possible in maybe, I don't know the color of the pellets. But anyway, this is the blue we ended up with. It's pretty solid color. It's not translucent like jeans.
But it's also.
It's also what?
It also doesn't have any marbling in it.
There's no marbling in it, correct. And then we move to, or we're about to move to, before I smash something in there. And then we move to Peter, Joe's favorite album of all time. Just go back and watch Skipper play.
Yeah.
And then we get this pretty solid green kind of marbling.
There's that yellowy kind of marble.
Yeah, there's some yellow in here. There's yellow and white in mine. So, I mean, it still looks cool, but it's just inconsistent across the lot. If they would have all been marbled, it would have been perfect. If they'd all been solid, it would have been perfect. But the inconsistency across it really.
So you have 4 records that are essentially different.
Yes.
You've got a translucent-ish red. You've got an almost opaque blue. You've got a marble with white, and then you have a marble with yellow. Why not go marble with white, and then at least you have 2 like this and 2 like that? It's just...
No. So the biggest issue with these sets...
And I know what a jerk I sound like, everybody, so go ahead and send me the hate mail. But, it is what it is. If you're going to do the project, it's like, do it right,
Do it right, right.
Everybody already knows you sound like a jerk. You don't need to apologize.
I know. Right.
We know, you know. We can just move along.
Send Jason all the hate mail.
They do. Don't worry.
That's why he can't find anything in his room.
It's all buried
it's all
in the
piled
hate
up with hate mail. So anyway, the biggest issue with this set, to me personally, and it's the reason why I have 4 of them and only paid for 1. Would you lean in like that for? Are you?
I stopped because you said it only paid for 1. Go ahead.
Right. these are not sealed, as Dave pointed out. And what we ended up having and seeing with a lot of these records is all kinds of scuff marks. I don't know if we're going to be able to see.
Yeah.
See them?
Yep.
All kinds of scuff marks where these records shifted because they're right on top of each other in the box. I don't have a set that does not have some scuffing on it. Some of them had like white dust or something. I don't know what it was. You could wipe some of them off. But what they should have done, they didn't have to seal them. But the next thing that they did was they released all of these, they did these prints of the album covers inside, okay? But in between each print, smartly, they put a piece of this tissue paper.
Yeah.
Whatever it is. And it keeps the prints from, from marking up the print behind it. And so if they'd have just put that in between each one of those, you wouldn't have had this scuffing. They replaced actually, I don't think I paid for a solo album box set. They replaced my solo album box set 3 times. I did not get any that had, and each one was worse than the next with the scuffing on the backs, and some of them were on the fronts of the covers too, just scuffed completely up. And finally they said, we can't guarantee, so we're just giving you your money back. So they refunded my money. So I have 4 box sets, and I didn't pay for any of them because they couldn't get their shit straight. And on top of that, they sent me. Do I have them? Oh yeah, they're right here. They actually sent me in a separate box. This is crazy. They actually sent me in a separate box, just covers that were in mint condition with no scuffing on them at all, and the damn things came with smashed corners.
Oh.
And they put the ace in the box with tape on it.
Fuck me.
Yeah. So I got what would have been mint condition jackets, and they turned out to just be marred, just smashed to pieces.
Okay, so here's my question, right? Because I've got a separate box as well, because I had some problems with one of mine. They said to send it back, and then they decided they didn't want it back, and they just sent me out another complete box.
Correct.
Right, so I've got 2 sets, and the scuffing was the only real issue. If they'd come to us because we're saying, hey, we know all these things, we know that there's a market, we know what you'd need to put in. If they came to us and they said, we're going to put out the solo albums, they're going to be on exclusive colored vinyls, they're going to be in a box, they're going to have the posters, we're going to also do these limited edition prints, which will be limited to the number of box sets we make. So let's say it's 3,000 of them. There's only 3,000 of these exist in the world, and the same as the slip mat. What would we have advised they price them at? What would you have thought the KISS fans would pay for that box set? As described, not the way that we've seen it, but as described. Because I thought $400 was going to be what they were out there for.
I think 400 is too much given the amount that they pressed. If they'd have done 500, then you could have done, I think, a $400 price point, maybe. But still, that's a lot of money. That's a third of the way or a quarter of the way to the box to the Hysteria set.
Right.
But this is something the whole of record collected, KISS collectors have wanted these things on colored vinyl forever. I would have thought you could hold us ransom.
Well, it turns out that it was the loud majority because these box sets, there's a ton of them sitting somewhere that have gone unsold.
Correct.
Yeah, right? Not only that, but they're willing to give me an extra box set. They're willing to give Jason 3
extra box sets, and gave my money back. So I have 4 box sets here.
They must have made a massive loss on these.
I had to.
Maybe they take no loss because they don't cost anything to produce. But
no, I see
that an estimate on what you thought you were going to get back. I can't see them of hitting their targets. Maybe it's targets, not the.
I bet these were expensive to produce. This is not an
Guaranteed.
inexpensive endeavor, especially with the tip-on jackets.
And the ball.
The box itself is expensive. Is there anything on the back of that box, Jason?
No, it's plain black.
It's just
There's
black.
No markings at all
On the back, yeah.
I can't believe anyone in our group doesn't have these. I would suggest that if anyone doesn't have it, they get it, because I still think at whatever it's priced at now, $150. It's a nice piece to have. It's a really nice piece.
Well, it's well under the retail price, Jason, if I'm not wrong, of the original retail price of the records when they came out. Weren't they around $35 each of the solo records in 2014?
Originally the 2014s?
Yes.
I think 35
in
or
that
so
neighborhood,
was
like 34.90 something, right? So right there, that's, my math is terrible, but $135-$40 right there for 4 records, just going up to the record store and buying them or getting them on Amazon or whatever you were going to do. Right there. And then you're throwing in lithographs. To me, the slip mat thing drives me nuts because it's another piece of bullshit tchotchke. I don't know. It's like, do something else that's media related somehow, or throw a single in there or 2 singles with an A and a B side, Ace and Peter and Paul and Gene. Do something.
That'd been a good idea.
Do something that's cool, that's related to what's going on here, rather than I know they put the logo on it or the faces on it, but I don't know, another slip mat? Please, will you stop?
But then there's the KOL bundle. So that box set was $200, and then Kiss Online had their own bundle where they put more shit that you don't need, Joe. So
correct.
With that had pins, a T-shirt. What else?
I don't know why I bought this bundle, but I did.
You know what? I bought this bundle, and I don't know why either.
Yeah. So you got the pins there, and then the coaster set, right? Is this a coaster set?
Yeah.
What is this?
Goodness gracious.
The coaster set.
It just...
Yeah.
I think that design would have looked better on the slip mat with their heads turned with the tops touching rather than the melding of the chins or whatever.
I thought all of it should have been binned, as Dave would say.
Bin it. And then there was a T-shirt.
Yeah.
Which is never a collectible, by the way.
Hold on, guys. I've never opened this up and looked at this. This is the most bizarre thing I've ever seen. How am I going to get this out? So this is the inside of the shirt where the tag is.
Yeah.
It's got...
Yeah, it's a big custom tag, yeah.
It's a big, giant custom tag. I've never even looked at that.
Yeah.
So, anyway, it's impossible to... Limited edition.
Is they didn't just run off a shirt. They ran off a shirt that was going to be difficult because you've got to do 2 prints to do that.
Yeah.
So there's another degree of difficulty in manufacturing that shirt. That's 2 runs to get that shirt made.
And it doesn't add to the collectability whatever. You know what I mean? It just does. Nobody, like, shirts to me seem like one of the least collectible silos of Kiss collecting.
Unless you collect your shirt.
There are some very, very, very expensive, highly sought after Kiss shirts.
I'm not saying there's not. What I'm saying is it's not that roster is not very deep. When you're talking about real collectible shirts, there hasn't been a collectible shirt that's come out since the 70s.
The 70s. Yeah, some of the harder to find 80s shirts are kind of getting up there in price. Look it up. It's a jersey, stuff like that. But there are some shirts that command quite a bit of money from the 70s. But nothing. The slew of shit that's come out since the reunion tour.
Nobody cares.
Nobody cares. Yeah.
And this to me just goes into the pile of nobody cares. It's just you're adding on. Like, I thought the pin was interesting for Rock and Roll Over because it mimicked the logo and you hadn't seen it before. And it was a little bit of a different thing, A coaster set, really? I mean, that stuff that's.
No, but I think now we're going into an area of somebody at Universal they've got it. I mean, a few years ago there was a company called Cafe Press, where, and I think they may still be around. You pick your design. They have a number of items that they can digitally print onto.
Exactly right.
And you pay as people request it. That's the way that Cafe Press used to work.
Yeah.
And now there's an Aussie band just releasing their next album, and you can buy that. And one of the things is a drinks. You guys call them koozies.
Yeah.
There's a T-shirt, a koozie, which I absolutely don't want, and socks. Like,
right,
because they can print onto those things.
It's almost like, hey, who's the trinkets and trash company that Universal is partnered up with? Look through their catalog and go, oh, they've got coasters, they've got dominoes, they've got slip mats, they've got T-shirts, and they've got lighters, and so every time it's like page 36 of the catalog, it's a lighter. Page 37, we do coasters. Page 38, you get the Cloisonne pin.
And this band, this bundle I saw yesterday, they're now on Universal. They're with Universal. So I mean, I think you're right. I think there's a catalog of items that you can print on, and as these designers or as these little groups of account people are going, okay, this is the next release. We're going to do a bundle, and we're going to keep it under $80. What things can we buy?
Right.
We can buy a T-shirt. We can buy that. We can buy that, and then we'll sell all the items separately as well.
The Foo Fighters came out. I can't remember what record it is. Maybe you guys will know. With the song "White Limo." Was that on?
I don't know.
I'm not going to remember. But anyway, you could get a little Matchbox car, white limousine. So it's actually like, oh, there's a theme, and you can, if you're a big Foo Fighters fan and you're into the tchotchke of that, at least it's not a coaster or a koozie. And I'm not saying that I want that more than anything else, but at least there's some thought there that goes, oh, the song is White Limo, it's released as a single, let's put out a limited edition version of this with a Matchbox white limousine, and it's like a whole thing. You know what I mean?
Imagine you're a big fan of Revenge, and somebody bought out a box set of dominoes with Kiss logos on them, and put them into.
There's your domino opportunity right there.
That's it.
But don't we all go, Kissteria dominoes? What the hell? Like what? Like what is
connection? There's a connection there.
Yeah, but it's the 30th record in the bunch, and it's the 6th song on that record, and it makes no sense.
Okay, right. So if they issued...
Come out with a book, because a book costs probably as much as those dominoes did.
The book.
Yeah.
If they repressed Revenge, and the bundle that came from Universal had a set of dominoes in it, and let's pretend they didn't put them in Kissteria, would you then think that was more applicable? So it's Revenge, you get a copy of Revenge, you get a T-shirt, and you get a set of dominoes.
At least it makes some sense.
Sure.
Right?
So they're kind of Universal. They're hitting. They missed the target, but they hit the tree. They're thereabouts.
Yeah.
Yeah. We can give them that. All right.
A participation award.
Here's what I'll give them. They're putting stuff out. All right, next.
Do we want to stay in the U.S. or do we want to move over to Europe?
Let's go.
Well, the next thing was the weird one. It went to Europe because a tour went to Europe, didn't it? Mm-hmm. And we were guessing what was coming out next, and then suddenly out of Germany, completely unexpectedly.
To the point where all of us were like, are these official?
Right.
Where the hell are these coming from?
We didn't even think it was real because why would they have released something from Kissteria that was an exclusive?
Weren't we at the Indianapolis Expo when these were announced?
I don't remember that.
Looking at our phones saying, what the fuck is this that's coming out? I almost think I was. Well, these came out in May, right?
I think that's what we said earlier when we were talking, right? At least we had talked about a late May date, yeah.
May was when the Indianapolis Expo was, so I'm pretty sure that we were there. People were saying, "Oh, there's a buy link up. What is this?" And we were, should we buy this? Is it official?
And it was a weird link too, wasn't it? Wasn't it some really offbeat kind of?
I think it was. Yeah, I think it was.
It wasn't like universal dot whatever for Germany, right?
Right. So we get the lovely, and I'm not going to bag on these really probably at all because I love them. Joe probably hates them, but I love them. So we get the amazing reissue of Best of Solos and a hype sticker.
Other side.
There you go. It actually says something about the record.
Down in the lower left corner for no reason, because of course when you put a record in a bin, you want the hype sticker to be in lower left.
Well, I guess did these make it to stores? Or
no, I'm
just
well, they may have in Europe, but
I'm just saying the reason for hype stickers.
Yes, I get it. So, but anyway, completely redone. We get the Best of the Solos,
and that's a record that didn't appear in Kisteria. And,
it's never been issued in the United States, so
no, and it was not in the box set. So by rights, any collector that wants the latter day reissues needs that.
Yeah.
And what we get is this crazy ass, in my opinion, killer looking. What is this? A splatter or a?
Yeah, I don't even know what they call that. Yeah.
What you would call this?
Starburst?
Label. I would have loved that label to have been black.
Right.
To have done a negative version of that label. Maybe. To sit with the vinyl itself.
Yeah.
Yep.
Because that beige just sticks out horribly on that.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. And because the color of the vinyl isn't linked to the color of the cover, because otherwise you may have had, say, black and red. Because
and again, why wouldn't you do that, right? Doesn't it just seem like it's begging for black and red there?
Well, you would have thought so, yeah.
I thought so, yeah. God, Joe hates everything.
No, it's not that I hate it. It's just, again, to me, I feel like what we're seeing here is a lot of singles and doubles, and and they're not. There's no home runs in the bunch of these. I don't feel like, as far as like bundles and stuff.
Well,
but having said that, I think that's a badass release.
Yes. Yeah.
That none of us saw coming. That was completely unexpected. I'd have bet a lot of money that had never been repressed.
Right, and I can tell you, from just knowing one of the gentlemen that was involved in the process of those records, that there is a lot of thought from Kiss, a couple of Kiss fans going into these records, these German releases.
Yeah.
So,
I do think it shows more on those releases than on some of the others.
Right. So,
and then it was immediately followed up by this, which just blew me away.
Double platinum. You get the non-shiny, non-foil cover, like it was released over there, and
with the German logo that looks badass.
German logo, it looks killer. It's got the the print on the back, and the hype. Well, not the hype sticker. The sticker that came on the cellophane that has the track listing and all of that, and
which is really cool too.
Super cool, and it even has, probably not going to be able to see it, but it even has in the legal there the German logo is replaced. It replaces the original logo.
I couldn't I was buying 2 of these issues so I could open one and look at the vinyl, because we all know I don't have mine because of the turntable issue. But I couldn't because these came out in Germany and these went super fast.
Well, yeah, what's bizarre...
copies of this.
Right, what's bizarre to me is the double platinum sold out very, very quickly but you can still get the best of the solos today.
Which again, you'd have never guessed.
I don't understand why that is, but
do we know how many of these were? Sorry, do we know how many of these were pressed?
I personally don't, but we could probably find out.
Okay.
That would be a good opportunity for somebody. If there's somebody in Germany that knows, could put that on the in the comments.
Right. So, and then we get this killer gatefold.
Yeah.
Isn't there one in Chile as well, Jason? That was like that.
No, there's one in the Colombian version.
Colombia, yep.
That has the elder shots on the
elder
sides.
Shots. Yes, that's what I'm getting it confused with. Yeah.
But you get the red print down here, and it just looks super killer. And
but the killer is the vinyl, isn't it? And I really, really want the copy to be able to open to look at.
We're getting there. So we get the Platinum Award, and all of the logos are replaced with the German logo, which is
That's beautiful.
Incredible to me. Even on the legal in the back.
Yeah, good for them. That's great.
Yep. And then they put these killer black sleeves in it, and then you get. Here you go, folks.
Molten silver.
Molten silver, yep. So, and you get the custom logo with the German logo.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just knocked it out of the park, man.
But even that, how cool would that have been to have a silver label on that thing? Like a metallic silver center label with black writing or with white writing or something like that would have just been killer.
The thing that I'm curious about with that is we know that the exclusives in the box sell for $250 a piece.
Oh, at least, yeah, probably more, like $350.
We know that doesn't devalue them because it's all the logos, everything has been changed to the German version.
It's radically different, yeah.
If they issued an American pressing of this, would it sell? Would it devalue the ones from the box?
I think it would sell in a flash, and I think it would devalue the hell out of the Hysteria box set version.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it would have to.
Even a matte version of it, I think, would sell in a flash, but that may not devalue it as much. But if they re-release double platinum like they did in the box set, it would just absolutely kill it.
Yeah.
And because that to me, for my money, might be the prettiest record of the Hysteria box, because that silver is just amazing that they used. It looks so nice.
Yeah, it's very, very nice. It's very nice.
And we had no idea they were coming, and that was a tipping point for me where I just went, I can't afford for them to do any more of these. Like, I've already started to buy these box sets, and now Germany are doing them. Like, if they repress this catalog, I'm out.
And then on that note, here comes the debut record.
Yeah, more money.
That's right.
Here we go.
And this is with the black swirl, right? Everybody loved this. This was fantastic.
The mock-ups that we saw showed a beautiful black and white swirl, which would have been absolutely perfect. But just, to talk about the jackets again, here we are back to, we've moved into 2019, and we're back to the U.S. Sound of Vinyl, colored vinyl stuff. We've got 2014 jackets. That just has a
barcode sticker,
UPC sticker on it. And now they've started to move into doing anniversary editions. It's 45 years since the release of the first album in 2019. So we get a 45th anniversary hype sticker. So, I mean, at least that's,
Do we know if that's a KISS exclusive? Or is that 45 years for everybody who's at a 45th record? It's got to be. You assume that's got to be a generic thing, right?
Right. And so everybody gets their records.
And everybody loves them.
Right. One of the most active,
the best received
piece
of vinyl.
Knocked it right out of the park.
Oh yeah, everyone pristine.
One of the most active months in Kiss My Wax history on Facebook is when people started receiving their black and white swirl.
That's really nice. You got that. That's close to white. I like that.
With the exception of that little blotch right there.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty much white. So anyway, the floodgates open. Everybody starts bitching to Universal. What the hell have you done?
I just pictured Jason on his horse with the flag of the swirl on it, leading this massive charge to the phone banks.
Dude,
and this angry horde of people just I'm pissed off that we've got. What do you mean it's not swirled?
I did not get, salty with them.
Oh, you got assed up.
I did text with those people and say, you got a lot of angry people in the group, and they're aware. I've spoken to them about the group and how we move a lot of product for them, and the customer service people were flabbergasted. They just they didn't have any idea. They get these records back, they're sealed.
Who's this again?
Yeah, they get these records back and they're sealed, and they're just shipping them out. They have no idea what the hell they look like.
Yeah.
They're just customer service people on the phone. So
meanwhile, Bill with the cigarette with the ashes all the way up almost to his face is just putting whatever pellets he wants, just shoveling them into the thing. And meanwhile, the Universal phone bank is like, dee, 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 dee. And Jason's like, you sons of bitches, and Bill's just shoveling pellets into the machine.
Oh, Bill just finishes his shift, and
That's
Frank
right.
comes along. Frank says, how many pellets you put in it? And Bill goes, I don't know, 10, 20, whatever.
Maybe black, maybe white, who cares? These people, they're not going to know.
Nobody's going to notice.
right. So here's another copy of mine. Oh, look at that swirl.
That's the skid mark version. Holy hell, what a nightmare.
Yeah. So I think I have 3 or 4 of these laying around here somewhere. None of them even got close to swirl. There were a few people that got some okay. And I think they one thing I never did personally was I never filed like a formal, I don't know about a complaint, or I didn't email in and say, here's my record, I'd like a replacement or a refund or something like that, because somewhere down the road
you did send a strongly worded text.
I did, but somewhere down the road they did decide to honor some of I think they did a small run or something, and they
were not much better, as I remember, right?
They sent replacements out to some of these people for free, and but I don't recall if they were any better at all. I think they were marginally better.
I wonder if what happens here is somebody at Universal goes to a certain pressing plant, and that certain pressing plant has the ability to do certain types of vinyl, right, as we're aware of, and somebody goes, oh yeah, we could do that. Somebody shows a mock-up, they go, yeah, we could do that, and we'll do it for you. And then you get the
yeah,
on the vinyl, right?
Version.
It's just, awful.
Right. So then what happens, Dave? We also
Then they were shipping, and they were shipping those. They were pressing. This was this is before they'd started to do European versions, and so people in the UK were getting these as well because they were buying them from like people like us were shipping them over, and Sound of Vinyl UK hadn't released any yet. They got wise to the problem, and they said, and they did a UK or an EU.
Correct. These are 2014s. I have the EU here. These are 2014 jackets. You're never going to be able to see it, but it does say 2014 on the bottom.
And it does say EU on the bottom. Yeah,
oh,
that was it.
Yep, and it says 2014, and that is a barcode sticker. If you fill it, it's a sticker over the original barcode. So that's how they got away with it. And instead of saying, "Oh, we're going to do translucent," or whatever it was, well, black and white
smoke, I think.
Yeah, instead of doing the black and white swirl debacle, they decided to do smoke. So,
but it's a very translucent, smoky.
Yes,
thing.
It's very translucent. So, what's interesting is the mastering is different. They certainly didn't use the same plates because this fucking run out groove.
I was gonna say, look at that run out groove. Is almost a third of the disc.
It's unbelievable, absolutely unbelievable how much run out groove is here.
What's the sound quality of the record?
Well, of the 2014s that I compared, and these are all 2014 plates, okay? Yeah. But of the 2014s that I listened to and compare A-B'd, which was only 2 or 3 records, I could easily, to my ears, favor the U.S. pressings over the EU pressings. And I think that's pretty much generally where we land. By comparison, you see the run-out groove there?
Yeah.
It's just, that's insane.
It's easily double or triple the run out.
Yeah.
From one to another.
Which means you're compressing does that mean you're compressing the data?
Less information there, yeah.
Correct. Yeah. Way less information. So, I remember when the 2014 started coming out and people in Europe I remember a lot of people posting videos and stuff and saying, these things sound like shit, And I was like, I don't understand, because in my mind, they didn't do different mastering or anything like that, or however they got that information to the plates to press the things. I didn't think that process would be different. It's clearly different.
Are the EU versions of all the 2014s, are they like that, Jason?
Yes.
They are. They're all like that.
Yes, they're all like that, which was another reason why I didn't go buy a run of the EU versions. Because
so the regular version of the debut has that big run out as well?
Yes, this is the same plates. It's the same plates.
That's madness.
Yeah, unbelievable. It's absolutely unbelievable. So
the inner sleeves on these as well are the ones with the polyliner in them, right?
Yeah, there's a polyliner in here, and there's polyliner. This is what the inner sleeve looks like in the U.S. version. It's a clear polyliner, whereas this is white and has a polyliner. And the same with the 2 German records too. They're black sleeves, but they have polyliners inside of them as well. Yep. So they do.
The first of the represses that had that as well. Because
you had custom sleeves with Destroyer and Rock and Roll Over. Yeah, I think that's where that started at was with the German records. You get those polyliners. So, and then we move on to the.
Well, just one question: was there a hype sticker on the EU? Was there a 45th anniversary sticker on the EU?
It's the exact same one, I believe. It may have. I wonder if the number is different. Yeah, they're the same style. Also, if you look at the colors of the cover are slightly different too. One's slightly grayer than the other, but the stickers are the same, except there's a number down here, corresponding catalog number that's different. So, a different print run on those. So, and then we move on to staying in the anniversary editions. We move on.
One in the series.
Do what?
The next logical record in this series of.
Well, and the one that I had been personally waiting for 35 years was a green version of Dynasty, and they came through.
Because of the very strong green color that comes through. When you think Dynasty, you think green.
Right.
I tell you what, man.
You think green every time.
I'm going to think twice about airing this episode because, man, people are just not... They're going to be like, those motherfuckers don't like anything.
I love them. I absolutely love this colored vinyl. It's just every time it comes out, I think, fuck, guys, you were almost there again.
Right.
Missed the target, hit the tree. It's like you were just that close to making everybody really happy. And what you've done is you've made a thing that's just let everybody have a little bit of a bitch.
And I think that's
And I think for this week's episode.
Which I am a little bit of a bitch, by the way.
Yeah, no kidding.
100%. So
I think that's a little bit how, if everybody's honest with themselves in the groups and stuff, I pretty much think that's how everybody feels. It's like, man, it's so cool that they're doing it, but man, they could have just taken a couple of extra steps to make it that much better. So,
and even though these things aren't perfect, when you see them laid out as a group of saying, okay, so this is what Universal has given us in the last part of, the last 10 years, you look at those and they look great. They look great they don't necessarily mesh together, but you're going, well, these things look good.
And also, see, here's the other thing that could have been cool about them, right? If it would have been like the colored vinyl editions, and there was like a nice little colored tab on the spine, and you put them all on your shelf, and they're like blue, gray, red, white, sand, green, all the way down, and then you're like, there's the records, those are the colored versions, that's how it makes sense. But now, if you throw them all in a pile, you're like, well, it could be anything. You got to take it all out, and you got to look at it.
Yeah, you have absolutely no clue. And if you pull this shit off, you
have no idea what it is.
You have no idea what it is, right? Because all of this stuff,
which is the thing we complain about with counterfeiting all the time, or people who quote unquote reproduce things and they don't put any markings on them that they're reproduced.
Yep, that's exactly right. That's a damn good point. So,
thank you. That's what I'm here for.
It's almost like you should go into the design field.
And the thing is, it just seems like in one little meeting, all of these things could have been taken care of, and it's not that big of a deal, and it makes a nice cohesive set. And there's just some thought. If you're going to do it, you might as well do it right, to Dave's point. It's like you've just missed the mark on almost every step of these, one way or another.
Okay, and I'll play devil's avocado here. There's some executive at Universal says, why the fuck should we put any more care into this? We made a box set for them of the thing that these guys claim that they wanted. They didn't even buy it. Why should we give any more love?
Because that box set was $1,500 in a completely ridiculous 100-pound flight case.
No. I'm saying the four solo albums.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
We gave them what they really wanted, and we can't sell that out.
Well, to me, again, this would be one of those things where we get back to the very beginning of the show where we were talking about fatigue. It's just like we've been battered and badgered and what's coming next. Yeah. And man, we're just so tired of it because there's nothing special about it. And even then, when something comes out that should be special in this flurry of all this stuff that's a near miss, and people even can't really verbalize why they won't buy it, but that's why they're not buying it, because it's not a set, there's nothing special about it, and there you go, to me.
But the band, I mean, you've got, and Jason hinted at it before, that the band and Universal are a little bit at loggerheads rather than working together. Because I would have thought with the tour of Japan, they could have done a release of another one of the records in this series of colored vinyl and done it with an Obi, with a like. Yep. There was a reason there that they could have
Insane collection.
Yeah, they just could have been. They could be a little more in sync about this, but we get what we get, and we're happy with it. We're just not as
right
as we could be.
We're happy with it. We're not ecstatic with it. So, so playing devil's advocate again. So let's say they get halfway through this. They're halfway through this series, or a portion of the way through this series, and then somebody at Universal says, "Hold on. You fucked this all up. Let's go back."
See, now therein lies the problem. You if it's a cash grab and it's colored vinyl, you've got one shot. You're already doing it. You might as well do it right. Because what you could do is reprint those covers. You've got all the files. All you need to do is go put a little red stripe on the spine, call them a thing, and now I feel like, oh man, I've got 8 of them. I might as well get the other 10. I don't want a hole in my collection. Right now, when I take this Dynasty or Rock and Roll Over and put it in the thing, it's like, it's just another Dynasty or
It's the
Rock and Roll Over.
2014 Dynasty.
Yeah.
That's all it is. It's the 2014 Dynasty.
Encourage collectability, y'all. You know what I mean? Like, 1,500, they're going to... And then you're able to then resell it in a box, or you're able to sell a box that sits on the shelf that you can slip all this stuff into. Yeah. It just seems so easy.
So, with that being said, we get Dynasty.
which, by the way, is great, because now we've put 2 hype stickers on this thing.
Right.
I love it.
Both beautiful hype
we
stickers.
didn't. We put 2 hype stickers on the American version.
Oh, did this one come out EU too?
So the EU version of this had 1 hype sticker and no poster.
That's right. I remember that.
It had a poster and 1 hype sticker, and the other version had 2 hype stickers, no poster. Something like that.
Well,
I think that was the.
And then a German version came out that had a hype sticker on the poster with no record.
So in the the ongoing just knocking it out of the park sagas of these things, Dynasty comes out, and half of them have a poster in America, and half of them don't. And you call Sound of Vinyl, and they say, "Oh, it's not supposed to have a poster."
Who is this again? Now Jason has the Dynasty cover on the flag, riding across the battlefield with the sword in the air, right?
In my defense, I was not the only one that made this phone call, because there were people that was pissed that they did not get a poster.
Because their 48th copy of Dynasty doesn't have a poster in it.
Yeah.
Which you can get from the 2014 if you really want the poster.
Correct.
And nobody really cares.
So, and that's the other thing. All of this stuff, every piece of it says 2014 in there. So again, just reusing everything. My copy of Dynasty, I think I might have a couple of them, but my copy of Dynasty does have the poster, but not everybody got it. And then you got, which is a nice looking record, but it doesn't go with the theme at all. You get the translucent green.
That's weird. That looks blue on my screen.
Well,
it looks turquoise, because it makes just about as much sense as it should.
That is weird that it comes out turquoise. I promise it's very green. Hold on.
Yeah, it's very green because it matches Pete's eye makeup, which is the thing that none of us ever want to talk about, because that doesn't match anything either, not even the other eye.
Right. So anyway, you got the same 2014 custom label on this green. I promise it's not turquoise. It's
Shouldn't
green.
that be matte gray? That vinyl should be matte gray.
Yep, should be matte gray.
It could even get away with being red, like there was a German copy of it in the 80s, wasn't there? There's a translucent red version of that you can get out of Germany.
You do the silver, black, red splatter like we saw. Something like
absolutely
that, on the Best of the Solos, right?
Yep.
The Japanese box set where it came out in white. I didn't dislike it in white either.
You could do that.
Yeah. Well, I mean, there's your color palette.
Yeah.
Yeah.
White.
So,
yeah.
That's what you use.
Another mess.
So you had the US version come out, and then there was we only knew about this because of our friends in the group in the EU that said Sound of Vinyl were messaging them to say that they were bringing out a limited version, and they have the EU covers and the only 1 hype sticker, I believe. And I'm not sure they all have
ripped off.
them.
I'm just waiting for the next version of it to come out where it's just peppered with hype stickers. There's like 12 hype stickers.
That's coming. The guy from Universal that's watching this episode, he nodded off like 50 minutes ago, and he just woke up when you said 50 hype stickers. He's like, okay, 50 hype stickers. Yeah. We'll get it. Thanks, Joe.
So we did forget something. We didn't talk about the KOL bundle on the debut, and I didn't buy that.
That's the
you
one.
have
That's
it.
the one with the Crocs and the diving fins.
It's got Crocs. It's got a cigar cutter,
That's right.
an inflatable mattress,
The melamine TV tray.
a Snuggie, for 3 people.
It did have that. Yep.
Yeah.
The backpack.
All right, so
the
what
backpack
does it
was
have?
cool.
What does it have, Dave?
It had, I believe.
What else did it have?
It had a lighter.
Oh, it had the
think
fine
that-
china set. You remember that one that had the
Oh
fine
my
china
God!
set?
Would you quit?
It had the
And the
with
12
it had the goblet
12
and the
steak
yeah.
knives.
Yeah, with
the
the steak
12
knives. Right.
Yeah.
Those were green. I hated the green steak knives. Do you remember it had the Gene Simmons decanter when you poured the water out, it came out of his mouth?
But it came out red.
Right.
That was the neat thing because it
Right.
had that thing.
They had to
in it.
recall that, if you remember, because of the material that the red was made out of.
Caused cancer, right?
It did. It was terrible. And do you remember that they had the lawn darts? Do you remember the lawn dart? They had the...
All right, seriously, for our viewers that care, what did it come with, Dave?
I'm
You're
pretty
going to
sure.
show your photo right now because you have a photo of it, right?
Did it have a
pretty
lighter?
Sure it had the lighter, and the lighter was there to set fire to the other things that you got, which was a drink coaster. The Zippo so far has been the most useful thing. It was a set of drinks coasters and a T-shirt.
Yeah, and if you remember right, they had the shotgun that came with it too, where you could throw the coasters up in the air. Pull.
This is officially our last episode. I can feel it now.
This is where we get the cease and desist order from Universal.
Pull.
Saying just stop talking about our stuff.
And then we also had the Dynasty bundle from KOL that had a T-shirt. And what's that other thing that's in that photo?
Let me have a look. I'm just checking.
No, it was a lighter. Was there a shirt?
No, I think there was a pin. There was a pin.
There's a pin. That's what it is.
Oh, right.
A pin.
That's right. Yeah.
And a T-shirt from for Dynasty, but at least the design of the T-shirt was something. It looked like it was like a tour shirt.
Right.
The design of the T-shirt for the debut album was one that we've already seen that T-shirt done before because it's simply just the debut cover.
Correct. Yes.
With nothing else on it.
Right.
So even though it was an exclusive, you've been able to buy that T-shirt probably from Kiss Online
Right.
for a long time.
Right.
And you could buy all those elements separately. So the bundle for me was instantly devalued because it wasn't an exclusive. It was a bundle, but it was not. It was no longer an exclusive bundle.
I also want to make mention that at the same time, while they're not bundles or part of the bundles or anything, but they also started doing at the same time with these anniversary issues were the gold.
Oh yeah.
RIAA gold album awards, where it looked like they were going to do all of the entire run of every gold album that Kiss had. And
I think somebody did the math, and if you bought them all, it was going to be like $39,000 or something, right?
I don't think it's that high, but it's pretty crazy.
I'm kidding, of course, but
Right.
Yeah, it was some insane. It wasn't it like around
It's like $8,000
or something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, $8,000. Which I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, like 6 of them.
You've got $42,000 worth of them in there, and it's funny because people will jump online all the time and say, "What? $4,000 to meet the band? That's outrageous! And they're money hungry and they're greedy." And you've got $12,000 worth of fictitious gold record awards on your wall.
Yeah, I don't do that.
I'm just saying. It's like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But in a way, that's kind of the Kiss way: is we will produce a whole bunch of stuff. You guys decide what's valuable to you. Do you want to pay $18,000 for a Paul Stanley guitar, that we know isn't worth 18 grand, and you get to meet him and you sign stuff. Do you want to pay this amount for this? I mean, you kind of can't blame them. They just produce the stuff. They stick a ticket price on it, and
I'm
buy.
I'm not blaming them at all. I'm just saying when it comes down to the fans, you'll see fans all day say, "Oh, they're so money hungry and whatever." And that all you're doing is spending $4,000 at one time, but they've got you for $4,000 for decades,
right?
For stuff, lunch boxes and posters, and they're so stupid. Who would go meet a band for $4,000? But you've bought lunch boxes for. 40,
That's true.
40 years.
Yep.
That's an investment.
Okay.
Well, today it probably is, but you got to sell today. So
yeah.
So let's scoot through the rest of these and get them taken care of. So also in 2019 we had the 45th anniversary of Hotter Than Hell, which
should be yellow vinyl.
Yeah, it should be yellow vinyl.
The same as the Japanese one. The same as the Japanese box set. That wasn't that kind of a limey yellow color?
Something like that. We won't go through it all. It's all 2014 stuff, but they reused the exact same color that they did on Rock and Roll Over. Orange. And this is the last time we see this.
I believe that was the same in EU. They didn't do an EU version of this.
Right. I assume there was a bundle for this.
There's a bundle. There was a bundle, but they were really delayed in sending that. So I think this came out in, maybe it was supposed to release in October. I left the country in the very end of December, and those things only turned up in January. And but the bundles were really odd. They had hoodies, and you could almost pick and match your thing. So a hoodie and a coffee cup and a t-shirt and a. So I think for me that's
they've certainly lost the sight of how they should be packaging these bundles for sure, because there's nothing unique about them.
Or they've fallen into a way of the universal way of doing it, saying let's just make
give them what we already have.
Yeah, let's make 5 elements and then people can pick and match.
And then on the
exact same day,
another anniversary edition, but this time the 30th anniversary, because it was released in '89. We get the 30th anniversary of Hot in the Shade, which makes total sense, right?
Why? The thing is, there's no reason why they couldn't do this. It just felt, and this is our fault, it felt like they were doing the makeup era. We kind of assumed they were going to go through the makeup era first, and then we'd all say, why didn't they do any of the latest stuff? And this has just popped up in the middle of that because they've started to do anniversaries, but they're sort of inconsistent.
Right. So all 2014 parts again, and at least this one, and it's the
I thought 2014 had sold out. I don't think this is 2014.
Oh, yeah.
That's what I remember as well.
Didn't you say that 2014, this was the only record from 2014 that sold out?
Thank you. I think that's correct.
And didn't we also surmise, too, going all the way back now to the solo box, that maybe that's why they changed, that Paul Stanley was out of print at the time,
and so was Peter.
Unquote, out of print, and so was Peter. So maybe that's why they went through and did those different style.
That was my original thinking. I have asked someone that has purchased a reactivated version of Paul and Peter right now, and I think they told me that they were still 2014 jackets.
Really?
That would be what we would need to know, would be to get a copy of Peter or Paul now, which the general consumer wouldn't have any idea. I could order it and get a copy myself.
Don't we had somebody that was working in the record industry that could easily get one.
Right. So, I think
we don't, Dave.
I think the people though that got it from Amazon, and Amazon was out of it, and then they got more stock, and I think they said that they were 2014 jackets. But I probably need to order one just to see. But yes, that is correct. Hot in the Shade was out of print. I'm sorry, I was just blowing through it because we're running long. But these do say 2019 on the back of them. So these are reprinted 2019 jackets. And then we get a color that's makes sense. It's just not the right shade, but it is blue.
But wouldn't that be cool if it were sand, like a sand smoky kind of color, right? Like to go with the whole sort of desert sphinxy kind of thing rather than just sky.
Sure.
Like lean into it again.
If there's two colors on the album cover, it's the sand color and it's blue. So I think they
and you would think you would use blue somewhere else, right? If you were planning everything out, you would say blue was being used over here on this one, so we're going to go with sand or something here.
Okay, so what if you're planning this out and you say, of the pressing plants right now, what colors do we have active? And somebody says, we've got a shitload of blue pellets, we've got green, we've got red, and we go, fuck, green was a nightmare when we did that one. Let's go with the blue.
Right. We got plenty of black pellets left over because we didn't use any of them on the debut. We used 12 pellets on that entire run.
Well, that surprised me, actually. In the group at some point, we were talking about if Dressed to Kill is next, because I think it was an anniversary thought coming up. Somebody said, what color do you want to see Dressed to Kill? And there was an answer where one of the guys said, I would just love to see it a solid black vinyl. And I'm like, well, yeah, that exists. That's a 2014. That one actually has been done.
See, don't you think the answer to all this stuff is you do a 3-color splatter for every one of these?
Yes. All right. So, and then outside of the anniversary editions, because now we're kind of there where, no more we haven't seen anything. We haven't heard anything, any rumblings about what's coming next. So Walmart on Black Friday gets a license.
There's one before that. The one before that was Kiss World.
Oh, yeah. I wasn't doing them in order. I'm just, but yeah, we'll talk about Kiss World.
Yeah.
Well, let's do Kiss World then.
So Kiss World, there was 3 variations of this, and it came out in 2 different colors. So they had an exclusive colored vinyl, which was yellow with red, sort of splatter effect. And they did an American copy, an American version, an EU version, and a German version of these. And I believe you can still get the EU version in the color.
And what was interesting about this was this just oddly just popped up that this was coming out. I guess was it to coincide with them going over to Europe maybe or something like that? Because
was it start of the end of the road?
It had already started.
Had it already started?
Yeah. This came out a few years ago on CD in Europe.
Right.
Okay. And then just for some reason, oddly enough, it pops up on vinyl. Another thing that's interesting about this is it has modern day Delilah on it. So, what does that mean? Did Universal license that one song? Who did they license it from? Was it borrowed? We just don't know where.
Did they actually have the license?
Has it expired?
Right.
Yeah.
Has it expired? Yeah. So yeah, a lot of interesting questions in that. Here's the German version with the altered logo, and I've not opened this, but it does have the altered logo there as well, which is pretty damn cool.
So, and the color of the colored version differs. So I think there's a pale yellow on the European one, and there's a deeper yellow on the American. So there's a slight color variation.
Right. So, and then Black Friday, Walmart decides to license not just Kiss, but several records and do their own color vinyl run, exclusive Walmart Black Friday versions. And they decided to do Resurrected. And I was trying to look, because it looks like just regular Resurrected covers, and it does have a barcode sticker on it. Okay. And you do get the insert booklet that came with Resurrected in this release as well. So if you buy Resurrected now, you still get this same booklet. And, you get the hype sticker on the front that tells you what it is. Can you see that?
Can see it?
Walmart. And here is the third translucent orange vinyl, which blows my mind. And it is.
Look, you guys, there's only so many colors in the rainbow.
That's right. That's right. Roy G. Biv, 20 times. So, and it is a 2012 label. So, completely recycled everything. The only difference is it's pressed on orange vinyl and it has a Walmart sticker on it.
You would think the amount of money that it costs just to store labels for 7 years.
Look, I don't know if I've told this story, not story, but this bit of information on the show before, but in the pressing plant that owns the company that I work for, it's, roughly a football field and a half, maybe close to 2 football fields long. A third of it is nothing but shelving with labels and jackets and inner sleeves. Almost all of it's for Universal. And they pay us a fee to store it. And whenever they need Nirvana Nevermind, we've got the jackets, we've got the labels, we just pull it out, press them up, ship them out. They store that shit, tons of it. It's unbelievable. I remember looking at the labels back in our old building, because it was beside our warehouse, and I would just go look, and you would see labels that were, years and years and years old. I remember finding a stack of Symphony jackets that we pressed when Symphony came out. That shit's just sitting there.
I can't tell whether Joe's disgusted or his screen's frozen. It could be a little of both.
It's a little bit of both. Yeah, it's just amazing. See, like the logistics side of that makes no sense to me. So you'd rather pay a fee to a warehouse to house all this stuff rather than do more of a print-on-demand thing where you're actually making special stuff for the people who want to buy it from every band that you have catalog licensing for.
Instead of knowing exactly how many you're going to print and print that amount with 10 overs, right. you print 10,000 and just stick them in a warehouse somewhere.
And pay $100 a month for those labels.
That's what they do.
Makes no sense. See, if you took that money and twisted it back into a cool label, like for that Best of Solos, you've got this badass center ring label that matches the record that also then denotes that this is a different thing. Oh, yeah. I don't know. I guess this is the episode of missed opportunities. It's not that we haven't said it before, but as you look at it and you really lay it out, you're like, wow, this is bizarre. Yeah, the choices are just bizarre.
Yeah, I certainly was excited about buying each one of those records, and as they come out, I'll continue to buy them. Yeah. But when you do talk about it,
I could see Jason going, I can't wait, I got another colored piece of vinyl. I'm so... Orange! Oh, this is fantastic. Then you get the next one, you're like, oh, this one's going to be great. The last one was orange, this one's going to be great. Orange! This is fantastic. And Jason just keeps buying.
And then somebody at Universal will go, shouldn't we put an orange tab on the spine of these and we'll just call them the recolored versions?
And the new guy in the record design department will go, well, we haven't used orange yet, which means he hasn't used orange yet. Isn't this the way it goes? I don't know. I've never worked on these. Orange? Jason, oh, this one's going to be fantastic. Orange.
But would you have had a problem if they'd reissued them all in orange and they were declared as orange and they were...
The Orange series.
I don't know.
That just would have been a bad choice across the entire catalog.
Well,
Yeah.
you know, but think about it though, and maybe Joe, you don't care anything about them, but I actively search out the red pie versions from the early '80s
Sure.
of the catalog.
Yeah.
You know, I mean,
So
some of
you're
those,
right. If they had repressed them all in orange, at some point you'd think people will just want the orange pressings of these.
Yeah. That would have been a better choice, right?
at least it makes sense. It has a theme through it. You know.
Yeah.
Or you
Yeah, 'cause
do the platinum collection and they're all silver.
Yes.
You know,
Yeah.
something sweet like that. You know.
Yeah. Or gold.
Yeah.
Because
Gold.
then you could see Elder.
Yeah.
Gold would have made sense. You know. So, what do you do? All right, folks.
That was a long one.
Thanks for hanging in with us.
Can we edit that down to maybe 20 minutes? We just cut out.
I'll do my.
All of my complaints.
I'll do my. I'm gonna mute Joe on the whole thing. You know.
All you see is me going in the corner, but silent.
And
Oh,
we
man.
and there may be another, as we talked about earlier on, we haven't covered any of the solo stuff, which is all
Yeah, all of the
Add
Kiss
vinyl.
related. Releases.
yeah, all those ex-members and current members and all of that stuff that has also had the colored vinyl treatment.
When we do, you know, all of the side projects that came out in the same period,
Yeah.
we're gonna have to stop discussing the the merits of everything and just talk about everything that came out because there's no way it'll be a 10-part series just on Ace.
I'll just be like,
Yeah.
yeah.
And we can't bitch about it because we contributed to that.
Yeah, you're part of it. You're part of the canon. So
That's right.
fuck you guys.
Yeah.
That's right. Fuck me.
That's right. So, all right. Well, anyway, thanks for listening to all that, guys. Would love to hear some of your opinions below. Do you think Universal, and again, if you don't understand the situation here, Kiss is not making these decisions. This is solely record label decisions. So do you think Universal has missed the mark with the colored vinyl? Do you think, you know, do you love it? Have they hit it out of the park? Is some of it hit or miss? You know, tell us below. Do you fucking
want more
hate
of it?
Joe? You hate Joe?
Yeah. Well, that's a
Tell
given.
us down below. No, seriously.
I'd be keen to know what people think is going to come next, because I don't believe that we could have accurately mapped what was coming. So I'd be interesting to know if anyone's got a theory about what they think is coming.
So if you made it this far in this episode, make some comments down below.
The only way you can figure out what's coming out next is to have one of those big detective boards with all the strings, and it's like it's like all the string goes from this one to this one, and what anniversary's coming out next, and what have they missed, and it's going to look like that crazy shot from Homeland where what's her face is looking at that giant board trying to figure out what's coming out next.
Yep.
Even the FBI would be like, "Oh, forget it, we can't figure it out."
Yeah, we have no idea.
That's right.
All
More
right,
vinyl's
so
coming.
So thanks guys for joining us, and we'll see you on the next one.
But wait! There's more! Hang on to your seat, baby! Cause this one's a screamer!
All right, guys, we've got something new that just dropped in. So as of the recording of this, Universal, and I guess the recording of this is the 45th anniversary of the release of Dress to Kill. So Universal has just announced, or Kiss Online has just announced, they're doing the 45th anniversary colored vinyl release of Dress to Kill. And there's going to be a bundle that you can get online. And I pulled these two folios in here that folio there to tag here at the end of the episode so we can talk about it for a minute. So let's chat about it.
I don't like it.
I'm going to
know.
get the bundle.
That's it.
And cut.
That's it, and we're done. We're done. So the bundle, the bundle, I mean, we've all only just seen this. So it's got a money clip. It's got there's no T-shirt in there, is there? There's
Not in the bundle. There is
No,
there are new Dress to Kill items that are not in the bundle.
Yes,
Maybe we can
yeah.
chat about them. But as far as the bundle, no T-shirt. Yeah.
So there's a money clip. There's Socks.
So,
I still find that funny because who didn't need another pair of Kiss socks?
that's right.
The vinyl album. What else is in there? There's something
There's a
else.
flask.
A flask, like a
And
hip flask,
Right, and a Zippo lighter. That's
and a Zippo lighter. That's right.
So those 5 items in the bundle for $110 that you can now pre-order on KOL, kissonline.com. It says the item will be available for pre-order and will ship the week of April 20th. But I think I also saw somewhere that there was a note that said, depending on how things are going with the virus situation, it could change when that actually ships. But
Yeah, so if your 45th anniversary red Kiss Online bundle is a little bit later than April 20th because of the global pandemic that's broken out, let's give people a break. Will you please?
yeah, calm down a little. Right. So
Although the previous bundle was supposed to drop in October, wasn't it? And it didn't. That was the one for
Hot in the
Hotter
Shade.
Than Hell and for
And
Hot in the Shade, and that
Right.
didn't arrive until late December or early January.
correct. And I think that had to do with something about them. There was a couple of pieces in those bundles that were not that were back ordered or something. But anyway, Sound of Vinyl has not announced yet, but as always, Sound of Vinyl usually sells the vinyl itself. So I'm sure any day now we can expect to see that being dropped. It may even drop before I drop this episode, but so you'll probably be able to get that. The other things.
Well, you can buy on the Kiss Online. You can pre-order the just the red vinyl itself for $30.
Correct.
So you don't need to get the bundle. You can just get the album. It looks like it's going to have the 45th anniversary, the silver hype sticker. Looks like it's in the middle of the cover.
Right.
And the red vinyl, are we guessing that that's going to be a kind of a translucent? It looks to me, although we can't go off what they look like it might be similar to what the Gene Simmons one was, like a deep red.
Yeah, we've talked about it offline, but it's too bad because I really think the color choice is poor for this record. There's, at least 2 or 3 other different ways they really could have went with this. What would you have gone
And
with,
that's
Joe?
that's because it's given this is a black and white record. So if there was a color, the color is a secondary color from. I'm looking at you, Joe.
Are you talking about the yellow that we're talking about? From
Yeah.
like
What would the second?
Well,
Yeah,
I
what would
mean,
the
yeah, the
secondary
obvious
color be?
choice. We talked about this a little bit offline too. Is that the obvious choice is yellow because there's the press kit. There's the we had talked about the promo poster, right? There is a sticker that was out there that's yellow. So and in this collection there's a yellow and black T-shirt. So it seems like you could have leaned into a yellow and black thing, but I don't know. I don't know. It seems to me like this one should be black and white. Some kind of a splatter, some kind of something with black and white, even a tricolor. You do a black, white, and yellow. You do something that's cool and different rather than, another red just because.
Yeah, red just doesn't make any sense. There's nothing that makes any sense. I just don't understand it. But
we're very happy.
yeah, but
we're overjoyed that they've done it.
I wouldn't say we.
Yeah.
You like the tie. Come on, you want the tie. You want the tie.
Yeah.
So there's as far as other products that are related to Dress to Kill that are not part of that bundle. On KOL they had the tie and then I guess the tie pin and
the best is on the tie. Did you guys see on the back that
it's got the track listing?
It's got the track listing.
Does it?
Yeah.
That's fantastic.
Oh yeah, it's great. Celebrated dressed celebrate. Okay, so there's a typo on the website. Celebrated dressed to kill by dressing to kill. Black necktie with subtle Kiss logo pattern. Subtle. And track list on the reverse. Pairs best with the Dress to Kill mini tie pin. So there you go. There's a little mini tie tack that that then keeps the tie together so you can't read the whatever. Because one of us would be like, "Oh, what's the track listing on that thing?" Here, let me go. Let's see. No, I'm gonna have the tie. I'm gonna have the tie in between the vinyl.
Yeah, I'll never go to another wedding and somebody ask that question and me not know.
That's right. What song do you want to hear? Duh. When you're up at, you're talking to the DJ and you've got the tie, but then of course it's not gonna be the right way around. So then you're gonna have to turn it in your whole body. Oh boy, what a thing.
I wanted to mention that usually when they drop these anniversary editions, they also drop the ability to order your customized or personalized RIAA Gold Award, but the Dress to Kill has already been available, so that's here to order if that's something that you fancy. I have a couple that I've ordered in the past. I think I have ordered the Dress to Kill.
So my question about that would be, so the label on the award is Filmworks because that's when it hit the gold record mark?
The first 3 albums weren't certified gold until I think 77, 78, somewhere in there, 78 maybe. So when the Filmworks label was available. So, if you ever see a gold album for Dress to Kill or the first album that has, a blue label, Bogart label, those just didn't exist. They didn't come like that. So, so yeah, that's why that makes sense. They have messed up the labels on several of the awards, but that one is correct.
But not this one.
Yeah, I don't think so. I think that one's correct. So, but yeah, so that's it. Ooh, did you see when you if you're on the page here, Joe, I think you were on it.
I am, yeah.
If you just hover over the Demons of Rock t-shirt, the yellow and black one.
There it is.
It shows the promo poster.
It does too.
Yeah, and it mentions that was the look for Hotter Than Hell.
So then, of course, let's go with a red disc.
Because it fits. Yeah.
So someone, it says this design was inspired by the tour poster, just like you said, Dave.
Yeah.
So someone was thinking about it. I don't understand. Why not make the record yellow? It doesn't make any sense. Anyway.
It's a pre-order. Maybe they'll see this episode and they'll go, let's just listen to Jason and Joe. We just... Somebody in Universal will say, let's make Joe happy. And they'll make that their mission, to make Joe happy, and they'll make it yellow.
Jason's always happy enough to buy it. Dave, you're always happy enough to buy it. Yeah.
I'm only happy enough because I got a check. If I hadn't recently got a payout, I wouldn't be getting this either.
But if you had to, let's say finances weren't what they are, and you'd have bought it, right?
Yeah, I'd buy the bundles. Yeah, but just because that's the only thing that I've ever really bought.
You buy the bundle, really?
I buy the bundles. Yeah, just because that's kind of been the thing that I've got. Apart from the Destroyer one, where I still want to find somebody that will sell me a T-shirt. Yeah, that's the only one I don't have.
Have we ever? We haven't even seen the T-shirt, right? Have we? Have we actually seen it? Does anybody have
Destroyer?
It? Yeah.
Yeah.
Somebody had. Did they put it up?
I've never physically seen one, but we know people that. We know people that own them.
We do.
I believe someone posted a photo in Wax way back when they got their bundle. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I know it's been a few weeks since we recorded this episode that we're tacking this on at the end, but that's exactly what I said in the episode. Was there was a couple of bundles that were compelling to me. The Destroyer one was, and the solo album one was to me. But once I think Rock and Roll Over had the unique shirt that you couldn't buy outside of it, and it had the unique pin that you couldn't buy. Right, and the foil sticker. So that's the kind of stuff that needs to be in these bundles, and just you can go through here and buy all of these pieces individually. Why? I don't understand.
And I think this might be the first bundle that doesn't have a T-shirt in the bundle.
Right.
Because a T-shirt is the one thing that I think should go standard with the record. It should be record, T-shirt, and maybe something else. But to get all the tchotchkes and have to then go and buy the T-shirt on top of that.
And didn't the earlier T-shirts, like, if I'm not incorrect, the Dynasty bundle came with a special edition T-shirt that didn't it have some writing on the sleeve or something that sort of said that
No,
it
the
was
rock and roll over had the writing inside of the
Right.
neck. The sizing of it was a special print. Now we look stupid because people that watched this 15 minutes ago know the answer to this.
It's been a month since we
It's
recorded.
been a month.
Right,
I know
right.
that, but
right. A month or 38 seconds ago.
yes,
Was it this?
I thought it was rock and roll.
So
It
I have a
wasn't-
Dynasty shirt now.
Rock
There's
and
been
roll.
such a torrent of merchandise. I don't remember. I'd have to go and grab it out and look. But there was a Dynasty shirt that I think only came with the
what?
bundle. What?
The solo album that has that.
I think they
Right.
all did, Jason. That's my point. I think Dynasty did when it came out, because
I
that
don't
came
think
out
they
with
all
that came out with the green vinyl, right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
but I don't think they all did.
I have a T-shirt. So
rock
maybe
and
it
roll-
was bought individually. I don't think I would have bought it individually. I don't know. Who knows? But
If
The
somebody
rock and roll-
wants to go and check my storage locker in LA, you can find out.
you have it. I think there was a T-shirt. There certainly was a T-shirt that said that it was a special edition thing, and so my only point is that if you're right, Dave, all of them should have had, a limited edition T-shirt or something limited edition with it that you can only get via the bundle, not these extra pieces and parts that are for sale on top. So you could basically create your own bundle. All you're doing by buying the bundle is ostensibly saving money. I haven't added it up. I'm assuming you're saving. You're saving a bundle.
You'll save 20
Oh.
bucks, something like that, maybe.
Right.
All right, somebody get out a calculator. 30 for in your head. Hold on, 30.
Do it.
What the hell is it? So it's 30 and 10, so 40 and 20 and 20.
This is what people tune into this.
It's
podcast
it's
for, to
riveting
watch
podcast.
Jason adding.
Watching
And
me
35.
do and 35.
So what's that total?
110
110.
$115.
How much?
$115.
So you're saving $5. And unlike some of those earlier bundles that had unique pieces in them, this is not going to be worth any money together in the future. It's just not. It makes no sense. It's not a compelling purchase. I don't understand why you're buying it, Dave. It's not a compelling purchase. That's why I stopped buying them. So
I'll buy a bundle of sorts. I may not buy that bundle. Now we've gone through this, I may not buy that bundle. I may bundle
But
something.
you're saving $5 to save
Yeah.
to spend 110.
Look.
That's why I put my head in my hands.
Seriously though, as silly as those extras are, if that was the only way you could get the money clip, the socks, and the flask and the lighter, if that was the only way you could get them, it's a no-brainer because it's going to be worth money down the road because there's going to be very few of them made. But
I mean, even if you did something as crazy as if you'd have really themed all these things out, right? And you went, all right, we're gonna sell a suit with this thing. All right, it's gonna be super cheap, but it's a suit, and you could get one of 4 suits, and you could sort of it's like a costumey kind of thing. You know what I mean? Like think about what you could do with it that actually sort of is a thing.
makes sense. Yeah. Right.
Clogs. I'd be selling clogs.
Right. Clogs.
The
You
clog
get a pair
with the
of
spike
clogs.
on it.
Yeah.
Reprint a smaller version of the promo poster, or reprint smaller
Well,
replicas.
that's why
of-
the tie makes sense to me. The tie is close,
The tie is close. I'll give you that. So
but the hip flask and the Zippo mean nothing.
right,
to me.
take those things out and leave the socks and the tie in there and make them only available with the bundle, and you got something that kind of makes sense.
Yeah.
So anyway,
Hey, it's pre-order again. Universal probably watch all of these, and they've definitely loved this episode.
Yes,
they would
absolutely.
love this episode. Patting themselves on the back as they finish this episode, saying at least we kept the fans happy.
Yeah,
That's
if they got through the vinyl review, that was 3 hours and 9 minutes. Then went through Nicholas's little bit, and now they're here at the end. They're like, why didn't we think of that? If these guys would only gotten to the point. Yeah, right. Should have listened to Joe all along.
That's right. As I've always said, as silly as I think the red is, I'm a sucker for colored vinyl, and I will buy the vinyl no matter what. So
mostly all I collect is vinyl, and I will not be buying it.
Interesting.
I got that check, and they're going to take some of it.
That's right.
Figure out what it's going to be.
Tell us below if you're going to buy the Dress to Kill bundle or the colored vinyl. And are we done, guys?
Yes, please.
I think we're done.
Yes, please. All right. Stay safe, everybody. Stay healthy.
Absolutely.
We'll see you on the next one.